Very good evening. Welcome. Here is the first pitch of the game in the Bob Aussie final. That pitch is thrown down by Daniel Melancelli for the Bulls as they take on the Biscuits. Paul Morgan's my name. Simon Isons joins me in the booth, and Melancelli throws that one down to Josh Davies. The under-18s final, the Bob Aussie Cup, Simon. First time we've ever had one. It's all good.
This is all good. Oh, look, this is the anniversary. Today is the anniversary of the WA under-18 victory last year in the National Championship. So it's fitting that the 18s play off in this ground, and there's a few kids who are part of that team. But looking forward to a good game tonight. They've got a bit of a change of the lineup. They've moved the teams around a fair bit. Positional players sitting in spaces, different pitches on the mount, more consistent starters, and have shown their mettle so far in the games before.
Well, the Biscuits, the team that are batting, the Bulls, the Navy Blues. On the mound there, that's Daniel Melancelli. Defensively, they look like this. We'll take in this pitch from Melancelli. Bounces into the catcher, Jacob Santich. Right field, Caleb Goodwin. Centre fielder, Owen Pilcher. Brad Bird out there in left field. Luden Tamara in third base. Cameron Landy, the shortstop. Daniel Choi, the second baseman. Patrick Temby, he is the first baseman, as mentioned. That's Melancelli. Behind the dish, Jacob Santich. For the Biscuits, they look like this. Josh Davies is leading things off. There he is there, Josh Davies. And it'll be Jackson Limpus, Dylan Boyarski, Daniel Carter, Tyson Knoll, Rui Harrison, Teo Kurosawa. Let's take the pitch in. Bang, rinse and repeat. Sam Shepherd, Aidan Brown, Flynn McGann is going to be on the hill for the Biscuits. So in the under-16s, it was the Hot Rods, the Stone Crabs that got the win over the Hot Rods, 11-7, first strikeout of the night as Melancelli gets Josh Davies swinging.
There's a good little battle by Josh Davies, but look, watch the way this pitch just dies away at the end. Just gets it right on the outside, good 12-6. He hung it like the hit. Josh Davies hung it in the batter's box, but Melancelli just kept pounding the zone after a bit of a rough start. You know, he's been.
That one's hit straight to Luden Tamara. Tamara has time, throws across. No time, beaten out big time. Limpus, he's got wheels.
Yeah, Jackson can hustle down there. Luden just sort of gets that ball in front of him. You see, pounding the zone. He's been throwing strikes, balls down. We didn't quite have the camera up and running in that situation there, unfortunately. And Luden hit Luden in the chest. He didn't sort of go for the recovery, but he's got a good strong arm to make it a close play. Gloves that cleanly. We would say Jackson Limpus would be out.
Here's Dylan Boyarski. His brother Ulrich, of course, played earlier today for the Heat. That's throw from Melancelli back to Temby. So Boyarski, good eyes there.
Sitting in a little comfortable 80 mile an hour, little sinker type scenario. Good lead off by Jackson Limpus. He's got a good extension in there. We know he's quick already, but a good progressive lead. Still goes in, still comfortably can get back standing up as well.
So good crowd in, which is the biggest one of the week. You could imagine this is the last stop on the 2-week tour already. As the runner goes, the Santich won't get the throw away. Good hustle up the line by Limpus.
He's still coming tomorrow.
We just see the situation. Santich pops up and just doesn't quite get his hand on the ball, unfortunately. It's one of those interesting things. He's usually pretty solid. He catches SL2 at the Wanneroo Baseball Club. And, you know, very young kid taking over some very experienced roles there. So, again, these young guys have been putting in club ball situations probably at the age they should be. They haven't been doing this in the past, so it's actually good to see. There's a lot of guys can hold their own. There's a lot of guys who are growing in the game as well.
So here is Dylan Boyarski. Look back to second, fires in. Boyarski watches that one, and he will earn himself a walk. The first walk of the game goes. What is it, Dylan Boyarski? Now Dan Carter comes up to bat.
Protect 90 feet. Probably not a horrible situation. You know, one of those clever situations to pitch around and a very good power hitter. You keep the force situation in play. You've got a good ground ball to third base here. Will give you an opportunity to roll it up the middle.
Yeah, that's played for 2. They get the first one, throw across in time, got it, bing bang boom, double play as Landry fitched it to Chow, Chow to Temby, and that is a double play, and that gets the Bulls off the field and bats in hand. Have a look at this. That was Landy across to Chow and to Temby. Got Carter in time. Pretty play. Nice.
Isn't baseball a funny game? You sit there, you've got a strikeout, you've got an error, you've got a base on balls, and then a double play gets you out. This is the one thing that a lot of these kids have got to learn about the game of baseball is you need to hang in for every situation. You need to be able to be prepared to take a little bit of trouble, and sometimes it can absolutely go your way, but you've got to stay positive the entire time.
Do indeed, and someone who's always positive is Grady Wolf. I believe we've got an interview with Grady downstairs. Take you down to that now.
Now, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm pumped, ready to go, you know. Yep.
Yeah, me too. Definitely.
Now, we've had 2 nights to prepare for this. Tonight's the grand final. Winner takes it all. What's it going to take to get the win?
It's going to take some good swings, good pitching, and all-round good baseball.
Pitch got to throw strikes, you know, hitting the ball, making plays, all around just good baseball.
Now, you've been out here for 2 weeks and it all comes down to tonight. How important is it?
It's really important to the team. We really want this win, and yeah.
Yeah, crucial. We've been grinding the past 2 weeks, so yeah, it means a lot, ready to go.
What's been your favourite part of the whole 2 weeks?
I don't think there's a certain favourite part. It was all round pretty good the whole time.
Probably the downtime with the boys in the change room. It's good fun, yeah.
Made a lot of friends, all of that kind of thing. Well, how have you both assessed Raimondo's cooking?
Oh, it was beautiful. Really nice. Yep. Yeah. Oh, probably the butter chicken. Butter chicken's pretty good.
Burgers for sure.
Well, he's got him going tonight, so hopefully you guys get the win and we can have one after to celebrate. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Well, there you go, Simon Austin. You have it from the horse's mouth here. Now it's pretty okay. And hanging out the change room. Jeez, they're going techno.
There, you know what? If I'd only known that Grady was going to interview 2 of the most interesting personalities from last year's under-18 state team, Daniel Carter, who speaks in very short sentences, we gather, and Riley Franklin with more swag than swag itself. I hope, guys, you go home and replay that one and store that on your media files for the rest of the year.
There you go. This is Jeff Kerr in the box for the Bulls. He is facing Flynn McGann, who throws down the first pitch. Does Flynn McGann. The Biscuits will look like this defensively. Tyson Knoll will be out in right field. Jackson Limpus in centre. Josh Davies in left. Dylan Boyarski's the third baseman as we take in the pitch. And that one's banged to that man, Dylan Boyarski, who throws across to Dan Carter. Carter makes the out at first. Sam Shepard's the shortstop. Teo Kurosawa is the second baseman. Rui Harrison behind the dish. And Flynn McGann is mentioned on the hill. Flynn McGann goes to John Curtin, who's Tim Kennelly's his favourite player, plays for the Braves.
And this is a young man who has, over since I started, let's not say working with him so much, but sort of working around him, having communications with him. He started off at around, 80 miles an hour would be a pretty good speed for him. All of a sudden, he's gone 83, and he can get up to 88 now. He's just put some excellent work in there, as we see Cameron Landy just leaning on a 84-mile-an-hour fastball straight up the middle. And I would say that comes a lot from the experience that he's been getting in State League in Kareem Baseball Club, seeing a lot of pitchers that throw on a regular basis, 84, 85, if not harder. It looks just pretty safe and comfortable for him.
It's Flynn McGann, favourite TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine, loves enchiladas. Marcus Stroman, his favourite baseballer. And he's a Blue Jays fan. It's good on him.
He's got a real thirst for knowledge for the game, which is really interesting. I enjoy talking to him to understand. And it's something, the conversations I've been having around him have been based on his mound presence and the way he shows himself to the umpires as well.
Yep.
Because this is an integral part of the game. Your body language out there, if you're disappointed in a call, you don't show it up. You don't show the umpire up. So a lot of these kids haven't quite learned how to hold themselves, because in junior baseball, it's really not. It's not taught. It's not discussed. But it's such an important part of the game.
Interesting. The way he puts the ball into the glove here is basically the identical way that Marcus Stroman sets himself. So again, we talked the other night about how much footage these guys watch their favourite players, and
You have to. You've got to learn the trade from someone. Now, what happens with a pitching coach is, if that positioning of the hand, the ball, the height of the glove, and everything else can be improved, or you look at a different approach, you need to look at adjusting. But as a kid, you've got to start somewhere. So pick your idols.
Yep, absolutely.
Mine was Oral Hershiser.
Oral Hershiser.
Yeah, good old 55 from the Dodgers. I wanted to be Maddox.
I thought maybe it'd be Sandy Koufax. Or
No,
something.
he's left-handed.
No, of course.
Crazy boy. No, it was Hershiser.
Luden Tamara at bat. Stares down Flynn McGann. McGann pitches. Luden Tamara watches that one. Get away from Rui Harrison does the work behind that plate.
Good lead. Darren Riley, an experienced umpire and baseball player, going at the first base coach. Good lead by Cameron Landy. Excellent. Reaches out. See, he just reaches down, looks up the umpire, begging, please call me safe.
That's Darren Riley. He's usually the ground announcer at the tournament at Wanneroo, the
Little League.
Little League
Charter, yep.
It was a good time up there in Wanneroo around Easter time. I'm sure that's back again this year, as that one, Tamara has hit that. No, not playable at second, so the throw across from Shepherd to Carter is in time. Good.
Luckily, Cameron Landy was going here, but let's just watch the way Sam Shepherd had positioned himself here. He got himself into a situation where the runner's already broken, so he's run to the base, and he's gone into a backhand. We can't see, but he goes into a backhand play because he's always running to the base. If he'd held his ground a little bit longer, that ball's taken on the front side, an easy flip to Teo Kurosawa, or even a run over the base for himself for a double play.
There's your mate from that 70 show.
That 70 show, Owen Pilcher. There he is again. Left turn indicator, Owen.
So Pilcher come up against McGann. McGann stares back at Landy at second and throws, and that one is hit high up, and that could retire the side. As coming in to make the catch is Jackson Limpus, and we are through one complete. No score in this one. We'll head to the second. It's a 9-inning affair. The Bob Ossie Cup, back for more shortly.
Biscuit 0, Bulls 0.
The Hot Rods, unfortunately not your night tonight. The Stone Crabs took away the cup. How are you feeling?
Feeling all right. Bit of a sore arm after these 2 weeks.
Yes, the Jason Hewitt Cup, you're all playing for it. Last 2 nights, you've had 2 different games to play in preparation for tonight. How did you assess the performance?
We did pretty bad. Not good attitude. Bit cocky.
So the last 2 weeks, what's been your highlight of the last 2 weeks?
Getting to train with everyone, getting the guest speakers in.
How's Ramon's cooking been?
It's been really good. I've loved the food.
What are you going to miss the most about the training camp?
The food.
Well, I hope you have some much needed rest, and well done today.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Empire Ballpark here on this Friday night baseball. It is the Perth showcase of the Tampa Bay Rays, the Under-18 Bob Ossie Cup final. Paul Morgan's my name's Simon Ison joining us, and we just got through a 12-minute inning for the first time in 6 games, Simon, and we're all pretty pumped about it.
We're all pretty pumped, but I think unfortunately we may have jinxed ourselves here. So, but look, I have absolute faith in Daniel Melancy. I said to Daniel on the first night, I went up and shook his hand. I said, thank you. He said, what for? I said, for throwing strikes, son. I said, as a pitching coach, this was something that is drilled into you, and I would be drilling into my pitchers. I'll be very impressed with both of those pitchers on a pitching staff right now than anything that I was involved in.
Tyson Knoll, Rui Harrison, Teo Kurosawa due up for the Biscuits.
Tyson Knowles has got that Goofy Sutherland approach about him, hasn't he?
He does. Of course, Goofy Sutherland retired now, and ABLs, he chops that one up, and Luden Tamara can't make a play at third. If you read the tea leaves, Goofy Sutherland, great ambassador of the game, was told it's no more via text message. If you read the tea leaves,
There is, I guess we're in a position that we're not allowed to say that's disgusting, but I guess I just did, and I'll get over it. But the guy is an absolute legend. I had the privilege of being in my first coaching role. I think it was in 2003 in Canberra. And he was the kid to be seen in the under-18s. And straight after that, he signed and had the misfortune as well of thrown against him. It's just like throwing to a taller, slimmer version of Dave Nielsen. The output was the same.
this is Rui Harrison at bat. So, the end of a great career for David Sutherland, better known as Goofy, around the traps. Of course, Brisbane Bandits, long-time Bandits player.
Adelaide took a game off them tonight.
Yep, just Todd Van Steensel got the save.
The human TikTok.
Yes, it was a bit wheels off last night against the Heat. Van Steensel and Luke Wilkins, those two players that come across from the Blue Sox who have a uniform that looks awfully like that Montgomery Biscuits colour-wise. They're in random ABL news. Looks like they're heading up to Lismore to play, because they can't play in Sydney, so they're looking like they're heading up to Lismore. Runner goes. And he's going to be okay in the end. So Tyson Knoll beats out the throw.
Big man can run. Good break. He had a very good break. So it's one of the probably the benefits of being a pitcher as well. He got a really solid break with a bit of a long leg kick. Throw was offline, but ultimately it's he was a fall more than a slide. But anyway, he is a pitcher, folks.
Wasn't the most graceful slide you'll ever see, but nonetheless, it's worked. Rui Harrison again, 3-1 count on Harrison. Here's the pitch, and that one's high, missing, gets a walk. So Harrison draws a walk, bringing it TK. Tayo Kurosawa up to the plate.
Second baseman, number 44, Tayo Kurosawa.
This is a different situation to last double play opportunity. TK can run. So you're going to get the ball on the ground. You know he's going to do a hard 90. This is one of the parts of the game that he definitely has worked at himself. He just doesn't give up on his at-bats after he hits the ball.
So TK will go up against Nolan Sally as he's inside.
Last night when we were speaking to BJ Cook, we were talking about the technology that the Diamond Fitness have been doing for their bodies. Well, in the Baseball WA, we have the Rapsodo. If you take a look at the knob end handle of TK's bat, this is the blast motion that he was talking about, which basically detects and registers his bat speed and his locations. It's a little knob on the handle end of his bat, and we can just see the plastic piece there. The blast sensor. So the pitchers have the Rapsodo that helps them to determine velocity, spin rate, and everything else. And this is the blast motion sensor.
It's cool technology, though. It'd be good to buzz it into the feed.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want it when if I was trying to swing a bat. Emphasis on the word trying.
He has the no gloves. Most of it no. He's the old no gloves. TK. He's got the rally train now for support. 3-0 pitch. Throw back to second, but he was back by a mile. Knoll. There is Tyson Knoll.
It's an interesting idiosyncrasy. You've got gloves and you put them in your hands. I don't get that.
There you go, draws a walk. So TK back-to-back walks for Nolan Sally. Just coming out to have a chat to him is Jacob Santich.
Uncharacteristic for Daniel. He's let two runners get away from him, which is not usually, as I said, he was very efficient the other night. Unfortunately, he's just going to refocus himself. And this is what we need to see from the young man. You've walked two there. As a hitter, your next opportunity is, do I jump on the first pitch I see? But probably not, because he's done, let's say he's done 8 balls.
Yep.
You're looking for not the very first pitch you see, but you want to hit a little bit deeper into the count.
Here's Sam Shepherd. First pitch offering is inside at 77 mile an hour from Melancelli. Shot at that 29 Shepherd, and that one is bang on the outside corner.
Back up to the 81 miles an hour where he's normally around.
Strike called Tarak to at the knees, 81 miles an hour for Melancelli. Advantage Melancelli. Pitch on its way and swing and miss and got him. Down on strikes goes Sam Shepherd. And that's exactly what you want to see, Simon, after back-to-back walks.
Yeah, you just want to see him complete the pitch out in front. Sanchez just sort of popped himself up a little bit there. He needs to stay down, a little bit, control it there, but at least it didn't allow it to get it through his legs, which is always good for a pitcher to know that you can throw a ball in the dirt with confidence. Now, there is nothing more rewarding as a pitcher that you have the ability to, they say, drop the ball in the dirt, block it. You know your catcher's going to get behind it. And as I said, you don't have to throw a strike every time.
This is Aiden Brown. First time tonight, bases loaded for Brown. First pitch, he's swinging high and deep out into right field. Making the catch is Caleb Goodwin, tagging up and scoring.
Oh.
Now the biscuits is Tyson Knoll, and so Knoll scores on the sac fly by Aiden Brown, and we have our first run of the game.
A lot of good things happened here. Good piece of contact. He knew he had a run. It's a good sweep. What you see backing up, there's a lot of conversation about going to three. Hits the cutoff. Just couldn't quite get out of his glove landing. But watch this. The pitch is around there. The left field is also around the back. So if Mark Pettit was here, he's ticking these boxes about these guys using the mental game of baseball to get the job done. Minimise, save, protect 90.
Back to the top of the card for Josh Davies. Davies struck out his last at bat. Davies will foul that one off into what's lights aglow here at Empire Ballpark, and sun well and truly setting in the west. It's kind of that time of the night you can get one to left field. It's often hard to pick up. Good stop by Santich behind the dish. We've seen a lot of runs scored on sort of past balls and wild pitch, so just to kind of see that happen, perhaps on Wednesday night that was scoring a run. But
yeah, absolutely. This is the one thing that we've been saying. Like we're only seeing some of what we call the pre-training games.
Yep.
Now it's been great if they've been playing, but this is the first time they're playing in competitive baseball. And I've seen it improve, which is a lot better. But you would have gone through, and I remember with the team last year, 8 of 9 games of baseball before you went away. You don't have a chance.
Davies draws a walk, the third walk for the inning. Loads the bases again. And now Jackson Limpus up. So it'll be Limpus, then Boyarsky waits on deck, 2 down. So Melancelli just looking to try to get out of this one. Ground ball will do, strike will do. First pitch offering is low and missing, 80 mile an hour.
Yeah, I think there's probably a little bit of a conversation going down on the with Coach Moyle.
That one's banged back to Melancelli. He'll run and just underhand. No, he'd be fancy and throw it across to Temby. And they will get the out, and that will do the Bulls, but they score 1. And it is 1-0 as we head to the home half of the second. We'll catch up with, we'll send it downstairs again to Grady Wolf. He's got another interview for us now.
Makawa, tonight was your night. The Stone Crabs took away the Jason Hewitt Cup. How are you feeling?
I'm really happy, and I'm glad that we won against Hot Rods. It was really good.
Yes, so the 7th inning was your inning. You guys ran away with it. How did you assess your performance?
I don't really know, but we just communicated well, and we had lots of energy. So yeah, was really good.
Now, you're one of the youngest players of the whole tournament. How have you enjoyed the last 2 weeks?
It was kind of tough, but I really enjoyed because I learnt lots of things from like the older people. Yeah.
Where do you want to take your baseball career?
I'll really love to go to the MLB and maybe play for Japan as a career. Yeah.
And you speak fluent Japanese?
Yes, I do.
And so what are you going to miss about the training camp?
I'm gonna miss the people that taught me like lots of stuff, and like my teammates that like helped me a lot. Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see where your career goes, and hopefully we'll see you playing for Japan one day. Thanks so much.
Yeah, welcome back to Empire Ballpark. Special guest in the booth now, Brad Hogg, of course, former Australian cricketer, cricketing legend all around, and you've been here talking to lads about just some of the tips and tricks you learned along the way.
Yeah, no, I was just talking to young ET too, the group of under-16s. I can't believe how small he is.
Yeah, no, he is small, because there's some other out here. There's some 17-year-old kids who are, I think, 6'2", 6'3", but then there's ET's. I think he's 5 foot or around there. But
well, he's only 13. Now, I went to school with Justin Langer.
Yep.
And we got a photo out the school of our first 11 with me in year 11.
Yep.
I was as tall as ET.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I didn't grow till I was 8. So he reminded me with all those big boys.
Right,
the journey.
So were you and Justin Lang back at the Aquinas days? You were together in the first 11?
Yep. No, it was great fun. Great fun. Yeah.
And so that's why Hoggy's such a legend. He's in the same school as I went to, so a couple of Aquinas lads having a yarn.
What year were you?
I was 98.
98.
So
I was 88.
88, there you go. So anyway, your cricketing career went better than mine. But so you had a chat to them. So you're working with Lifeline. You're doing some stuff with Lifeline now. Really important in charity, and one of the teams here, the Canberra Cavalry, actually, the Lifeline Canberra Cavalry as well. So they're sort of, well, I mean, it's a great charity, and I imagine in 2020, something from a mental health point of view. Outside of that, how different now from your generation of growing up playing cricket and professional sport? What's the difference now from a mental health point of view for these athletes? Because potentially there's more feedback they can get from the general public. There's more awareness. They're out in social media a bit more and whatnot. But I mean, is there any differences you've seen from then to now?
Oh, definitely. I think when I first started, we were still fairly amateur at WA level.
Yep.
We didn't have any contracts in the first year. We'd get match payments, but you'd still have to work. So you're still pretty heavily involved in the community, and you're still playing grade cricket.
Yep.
So you had all that support there, but now it's turned into more of a business perspective.
Yep.
And that support is there, but it seems to like. It's good to have that support there, but because it's turned around as a business, you're looking at young kids coming through and not really having any life experiences. I was listening to Steve Smith tonight as we were watching this pitch.
Pitch is coming in as the Bulls look back to chip away here, and this is Caleb Goodwin in the box. Sorry, not Caleb Goodwin in the box. It's Jacob Santich, the catcher, in the box.
Yeah, I was listening to Steve Smith, and he growing up, he had a job for 2 days. Behind the bar. Good shot.
That one's bashed down to centre field, so base hit for Santich, and the Bulls got something going here. And,
there you go. I don't know my baseball. Was that a good shot there, not a base hit?
Yeah, good shot, base hit, same thing.
Yeah, but he didn't rock up for the 3rd day because he had a party on.
Yeah.
And back in our days, if you did that, there was so much repercussions, whether it's from your workplace, your family, from your mates who got you the job. They tend to get away with a bit now, or they don't have those life experiences, should I say. So that's one good thing that I've been really impressed with right here out the ballpark. Is the life experiences that the coaches are handing on to these kids. It's just not about baseball. And they need that. Yeah, sport gives you lessons, but you've got to take that out in the real world as well. And it's very important that you educate the kids in that regard.
So if you rewind back the clock to say these guys are these guys out here are predominantly just finished or finishing high school now. So You wind the clock back to 1988. You're down on Memorial Oval, and you're someone's coming to have a word to you and say, "Look, I reckon you might be okay at this cricket thing." But what sort of advice would at that age? What outside of techniques of how you play? I mean, what advice would you have, in hindsight, in retrospect, what advice do you think at that level would you have enjoyed?
Someone talking to me about the psychology of the game.
Yep.
And the things that are the tough aspects of it when you're on tour. The negative things that you don't see.
Yep.
But for me, look, back in '88, I was pretty lucky. I've gone out in the shearing sheds. I've worked on the farm. I've done brick paving. I've done a degree. Built limestone walls, mowed lawns. Was a tree lopper for a bit.
But it's interesting that you say that it looks like the double play's turn and the double play is turn. So good work by the Biscuits there. It's interesting saying that though for you, because I mean, when you're tree lopping and doing all those things, like at what point are you thinking, oh, I might play cricket for Australia one day? At what point do you stop sort of? Do you almost the whole time in your head were you like, I'm going to play cricket for Australia? I'm going to cricket.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I was lucky that I had so much support down on the farm.
Yep.
There was some situations where socially, you've got everything that's out of party. You know what we're talking about. Probably can't bring it up here.
Yep.
I think everyone can work it out. But there were a couple of my mates that were involved in the not so good stuff, and I wanted to join in, and one of them said, "No, you want to play cricket for Australia? Get away. It's no good for you." So I kind of had that support, which I was very lucky. I don't know whether these kids would have that support because it's a little bit more insular because they're pulled out and they're all in these big squads, and they're being touted that they might be playing in the big leagues, or they've got a chance of playing in the big leagues. So all of a sudden they've got a bit of a different mindset.
So take Ben Bird at bat here as Bird watches the next pitch, bangs that one foul. This showcase, I guess, is, and the reason why they're doing it as well is they're trying to, so the guys who get picked by a big league club and go to America, like typically they get to the States, kid from Australia has kind of no idea about the States in some ways. That, a lot of the guys are speaking Spanish over English, so they're trying to replicate what would happen over there. But for you, and there are a lot of similarities for cricket. Like, what was your first international tour, and what do you sort of remember, like, as your first sort of thoughts once you kind of, I guess, laying in your bed at night?
Well, I shared the story with the guys that I was coming up from the bush. I went to Aquinas, but it wasn't being in the big smoke as such. But making that move was daunting for me.
Beautiful hit there. That's going to score a couple of runs as well as Bird gets one to right field. Comes zone scores a run, and he's got himself a double. So Ben Bird does a terrific job there. This Bird ties up the ball game as well.
Yeah, so I shared that story of coming up the city and the things that I struggled with. And hopefully that helps those players or those kids that get that opportunity to go over to America. And I basically said, you've got to do the research with the people that have been there. What were the roadblocks? What were the brick walls that stopped them from going further? So, the homesickness and that. But going back to my first tour in '96.
The pitches in there, just missing the catcher, and Bird thinks about going third, stays at second.
I'd only just started bowling leg spin, and the selectors had sort of seen me with someone that might have the ability to go to the next level. So Shane Warne was picked, and I was meant to be the understudy. I wasn't meant to play. So all of a sudden, I was over there, and I didn't deserve to be in the Australian team at that stage. And it was daunting for me because you're with the Mark Taylors, the Ian Healy's, the Glenn McGraths, and then you've got Stuart Law on the bench, Damien Fleming, that have just knocked the house down with Shield cricket. I'd only
tags there, and we'll stay with Brad Hogg to.
I'd only just sort of put the toe in the water at shield level. So really, I didn't deserve to be on that tour.
Yep.
So I was a little bit lost.
Yep.
And yeah, I probably could have shared that story with the kids as well, but we only had 20 minutes in each group. But it is daunting sometimes in those environments when you don't think you should be there.
Yep.
But you've got to believe yourself when you are picked that you are there. And that's something that I try to share with these young kids here is when the opportunity's there, you knock that door down and you go through it.
Because, I mean, the Australian kids, in the baseball sense, they're going over to the US. They're obviously not as conditioned as the US guys were. And for you, I guess a comparison is going into the team. Now, you're bowling leg spin against in the same team, or, you know, amongst the guy that's the greatest of all time in leg spin. I mean, did you have a lot of self-doubt about yourself going, well, I'm on a stage that, you know, these people in the press are going to compare me to Shane Warne and maybe I'm not as good as Warney, or did you never sort of think down those lines?
I never thought down those lines. And the thing is, you know, I hardly spent any time with Shane Warne because he didn't go on those trips. We only probably spent a month together. There was a time there where he was over at the academy for a week. It was a spin week and I was there. We spent a bit of time together there. So I didn't really talk to him much, but it was a good thing in a sense that I didn't talk to him because he had different variety than what I had. He had a huge turning leg spinner. My leg spinner didn't turn much. I had my wrong, so I had to have different plans to it. So this is so you can't. I never compare myself. I never try to be like Shane Warne. I just want to be like me, and I've been like that as a kid. When I was growing up in the backyard, the team selected for Australia, I'd captain.
There you go, and you'd made a few hundreds by the shearing sheds.
Yeah, well, I was playing by myself, thrown up against the brick wall. Every now and then, Dad or Mum would come and throw me the ball.
Biarski takes a big swing and a miss at that one. Voice hearing is Brad Hogg, of course, Test cricketer for Australia. Played for the Perth Scorchers for the while. Played for the Renegades as well, did you?
Yeah, for 2 years when the Scorchers didn't want me. No, but look, that was a good experience. I'd been asked a number of times to go over east, and I never did it. And the Scorchers were at that stage where they kind of wanted me to retire and get rid of me. My knee was a bit dodgy at that stage, but I had an opportunity to go and play over there, and I thought I might as well go and experience it. So I'm glad I did. But it hurt at the same time because I bleed orange, I bleed yellow and black. But it's good to have that experience. And as I told the kids down the stairs, you've got to get as many experiences as you possibly can in this world.
Absolutely. As Biarski hits at the third base, Lamara throws it across in time, gets the first out. And Lifeline, of course, is the reason why you tied it here as well. And we said before about Canberra Cavalry in the ABL have got Lifeline, but I mean, for the kids now, I mean, it is how hard it is, and you've been an athlete at arguably the most elite point of any Australian sport, and the Australian cricket team in many ways is the pinnacle of all sport. But how hard is it as an athlete to say, you know, I'm not going okay mentally?
Oh, it was tough through my environments. Because you didn't want to show anyone that you're weak. Simple as that, and that's the way that we were brought up in the bush. Look, I don't know whether I'm still weighing up which environment I'd rather be in. For me, I'd still rather the environment that I grew up in. Because I had life challenges before. I actually got into the setup. Those that didn't really have those life challenges beforehand and sort of were already pushed in that arena. They sometimes struggle. And you can sometimes see it with the way that they act on the field or off the field as well. And it's not them. It's just the environment that they've been brought up in. And we all know the environment that you're brought up in is the way that you end up acting. Because it's so influential. And that's a good thing about JL being the coach. He's not there just to win. He's there to make the cricketers better people.
It's an interesting point as well. I mean, you know, gone are probably the days of a manager or a coach like blowing their stack. I mean, how much of How important now, more so than ever, is that mentorship between manager to young athlete?
Yeah, well, they do it really good here.
Yep.
They virtually do exactly what they do with the Australian cricket team.
Yep.
You go in and you have a personality analysis.
Yep. Let's chop that one down
and then that's an out.
Get across the final out. So
how do you commentate that?
well, there was a chopper. They'll call that the old Baltimore chopper. Where the reason why is anyway, I'll explain the Baltimore chopper. He throws it across. Back in the days in Baltimore, they used to make the infield really, really hard. So the guys used to just chop down, and that's how they used to get their base hits. But anyway, that's the old Baltimore chopper. But
yeah, so we do the personality test.
Yep.
So I was a Mozzie thinker.
Yep.
I could think about the game the day before, but when game day, don't even think about it.
Yep.
So I had the fitness coach. His role was to get everyone warmed up, and then talk to me while we're batting, because I'd be just annoying. I need to talk. Matthew Hayden was an enforcer, so I remember being 12th man out Sydney in a test match. I just got back in the Australian setup. Warney had done his shoulder, so I'm 12th man for the Australian, and we're playing the English. And Haydos has padded up, JL's padded up, and I'll go up to JL. JL, come on, go and get stuck into these bombs. Yeah, come on. And then I'll go and do the same to Haydos, and Haydos tells me in no uncertain terms, get stuffed, doggy. And anyway, I've got my tail between my legs, walking out to the back of the change rooms, and Gilly goes, go and read Mozzie's sheet. Now, Mozzie's the psychologist. He's got the analysis. Matthew Hayden, don't talk to Haydos before he goes out to bat. No drama. So me being a Mozzie, I didn't read anything. I didn't listen, and hence I get myself into trouble.
Well, Brad Hock, we'll let you run away, get back to the other commitments, but really appreciated your time and appreciate the chat. It's been awesome, and legend of cricket and all round good bloke. So appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, well, I just want to mention both under 16s and under 18s here. They are a great bunch of kids.
Brilliant.
I don't know whether it's the 2 weeks or it's their parents, but I don't think I've gone in an environment like that where they're just genuine. They know what they want to do. They're very well mannered, humble. No, perfect. So well done to the mums and dads and the coaches, because there's some quality kids here.
Brilliant.
And it's looking good for baseball.
Well, that's all you need. The words from the great man himself, Brad Hogg, as he makes way. And let's tune out for 1 second. Really appreciate the job. There you go.
I could have sat there for ages and just listened to that conversation.
Yeah, I could have sat. I could have sat. Hey, old Quinny, a couple of old Aquinas boys. Just.
It's interesting to see another person see what I guess a lot of us already know, but then it's also interesting to hear another point of view. Now, the players he spoke about, the situations he spoke about, I've had the fortune of meeting probably a good 70 or 80% of those guys.
Yep.
And you can see what he sees. Whether you behave behind us, you see an absolute rip.
Absolutely crushed out, but left field is going to come in and take the catch.
What a great swing by Jeffrey Kerr there. That was great. In a normal ballpark situation at this club, takes a high fastball, good solid swing. But look at his back into the field. It's just dropping way short due to that breeze.
Yeah. But it's great. I mean, it's great that the kids get. I mean, even like, I think sometimes we overgloss in some ways like your achievements as well, and everything you've achieved in baseball, which is an enormous amount as well. And Huey and Olympian, and there's a lot of experience. But to get to, I think as well, like for these guys to see Brad Hogg and have a conversation and just go.
Don't ever think there's not a little bit of star fluttering going on there. There's 100%. I'm in admiration of a man who, not only played for his country in a sport that is challenging at the best of times. He exceeded well. He played with the idols of things. It was just a magnitude. But to be around and to now hear what he's trying to do, and for him to compliment what, let's just say this showcase and the parents, great compliment to the parents, have put forward in teaching these kids. It's been such a great piece of respect.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's 100%, 100% what it's all about. And a big thank you once again to Brad Hogg, who's a gentleman, for giving us his time up here. And down on strikes goes Cam Landy. Luden Tamara will come up to bat now. Did miss a few plays on him, but I mean, I probably could have stayed here till 2 a.m. talking to
I was the same, just watching him. And but again, it was interesting. You take a little bit of things there, the things I like to hear, but he's in a different generation as well. It's in a different generation, a different time, and you know, there's no doubt that these kids would not, some of them would not have grown up the way he did, and haven't had those lifelong experiences before. So all they know is what's out here in front of them. Well, guess what? It's going to be the same thing when you go away.
Yep. And that's it. I think I'm actually reading Adam Gilchrist's book, another cricketer, which he talks about his first tour away, and he was sort of putting on this big brave face. No, everything's good. I'm all good. But you know, like when you're alone at night and you kind of maybe, and this is why this showcase is so good, because you possibly haven't. You know, like now these guys can pin back, spring training, okay, that's like the showcases we used to do. Okay, I'm used to the 7:30 to 6 o'clock sort of days. And
yeah. And then another thing that stood out, I mean, you've just said that then. They were around a bunch of young guys. Now, I've spoken to some parents so far, and I've spoken to some of the coaches, and the coaches have got some sons out there, and I've even spoken to some of the kids. And the one thing that they found has been the most entertaining is the locker room. Is the kids often, Dan Carter said at the beginning of the series, I've enjoyed the experience off the field, because the one thing, as we see, 3 great curveballs by Flynn again there.
And down on strikes goes Luden Tamara. Timeout for us. And we'll take a quick break from here. Back for more shortly.
3 down for the Bulls. After 3 completes, Biscuits 1, Bulls 1.
Tyler Houston from the Hot Rods. Tyler, tonight was not your night. What happened?
I don't know. We were in it to the end, I reckon, and then just they took away in the bats and we couldn't come through when we needed.
They did run away with it. Were the boys happy with the performance or not really?
No loss is a good loss, especially in a grand final, but we did our best, all we can ask for.
How have you enjoyed the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, last 2 weeks been really good, learned a lot. That's all I can say.
What's been your favourite part of the whole 2 weeks?
Probably the experience coming out here doing spring training and the games.
Yeah, and what's next for you? Where do you see yourself going in the future with baseball?
What everyone else wants, college and then to the majors.
Majors, who's your team?
Boston Red Sox.
Well, best of luck, and we can't wait to see where your future takes you. Thank you.
And welcome back to the Empire Ballpark. Well, we've just gone through Paul Morgan with Brad Hogg, and the next guest is, I'm pretty proud to say, a pretty good friend, but a hell of a competitor. We spoke about last night how much I hated facing him, Jason Hewitt. But Jason, you're here on, I guess, multi-purpose. One, a parent, for one, with Jai. You're here as a coach, but there's a bigger investment in this game for you.
Yeah, good evening, guys. How you going, mate? And hello to all the listeners out there. And look, Greg Jelk's Baseball Development Fund, obviously, which you are a part of the group that runs that with myself, which we're very fortunate to have a great group of people that run that fund. And look, very proud to be able to sponsor something like this program. You know, for 3 years that the program's been up and running, we've been looking at ways to try and invest in the state program as such. And being there wasn't an opportunity for these kids to travel this year, and once the showcase was announced, it was a no-brainer to put some funds towards it to help the kids and help the program here in Perth, because let's face it, youth baseball players is the goal of what the program's about.
So there's going to be some people out there, there's going to be some people overseas listening to this. Where did it all start? How's it started for you? I know it's no longer so much a sore point for you or I and many people, but it's something that we both smile about considerably. Talk to us about Greg.
Yeah, look, so I suppose 6th of January this year was the 4th anniversary of his passing, and he was a friend and a mate to many here in Perth in the baseball community. You and I were both in the Perth heat when he arrived in 92, 93, and the impact he had on the game of baseball, whether you were a somebody or a nobody, he'd always make time for people. And I think when he passed away, myself and his good friend Steve Douglas got together and thought, well, how can we honour his legacy and keep his name alive? Because it was a very powerful personality in baseball here in WA, and we just wanted to probably do something for the kids here in baseball WA. I mean, I've lived it, you've lived it as a youth baseball player, mate, and the cost of being involved in elite programs, representing your state and your country, there's a big burden on parents, and there's probably a lot of kids out there that don't even get an opportunity to try out because their parents aren't in a position to fund it and or commit to the training and the programs. And so we thought, well, what can we do to, one, keep the Greg Jelks name alive, and two, support the game of baseball, which he loved so dearly, other than being a big leaguer in the US and coming out to Australia and representing his country and playing for the Heat and for the Melbourne Reds for a year. He was actively involved in coaching, as we know. Obviously, at the time of his passing, he was the State League coach of the Korean Cats as they began their journey in the State League. And so he was always involved in winter programs and, was always giving back to kids. So this was just something we came up with that we thought, well, no one's ever done it before. If we can have a small impact, and we're not going to change lives, but just by having a small impact and being able to contribute to youth baseballers here in WA has been very rewarding. Anytime you're involved in a charity and you can give back to something that you truly love, it's very rewarding.
It's interesting. Like, we'll take a little bit of a journey. Like you said, he came in 92. He made one of the biggest impacts into West Australian baseball and to Australian baseball when he arrived. He dominated the spaces. He brought himself into, he brought the team, he brought the game of baseball into the light. As you said, as time went on, he represented Australia as well. So his baseball transcended in a country that he adopted at his home. And he adopted this state. He did the 1 year with Melbourne. But the greatest impact I saw him was exactly what you said. It was his giving into the game. Now, he picked a particular age, which is literally what we're seeing out here, as the greatest opportunity for him to have a positive growth on players. And I guess that's what the fund is like for you and I. It's picking these spots along the way where we can have an impact. And you've been a coach, I've been a coach of some young kids, and we're sort of picking up the mantle of where he left off.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I mean, any time there was a program, whether it be a winter program or a state program, he was a state under-18s coach for a couple of years. And, of course, there's a couple of well-known names that played on that state under-18s team that went through undefeated. I think it was 06.
06, yep.
You've got Adam Korcher, who's, one of the guys involved in this program. There's a guy that just signed a $70 million contract in the US by the name of Liam Hendricks. He was on that club. Alan D. Sam McGuell was on that club.
It didn't influence many people, did it?
It was a special group, that team, and he was the leader of that group for a few years. And, he took an active interest in the kids he coached well after he'd finished coaching them. And, of course, he was given the opportunity to coach the Korean State League and their, entry into baseball WA State League. And Ulrich Bujalski was one of his main guys that, he had a little bit of an impact on.
So here's something. Talk to me, and this will be close to you. Is like definitely being one of your closest friends I've ever known. That the bond has been amazing. Talk to me about the man off the field and who he was, because he had the swag. There is no doubt the swag came out there. But talk to me about this kid that I guess you and Jai in particular has had an impact on Jai's.
He was a larger-than-life personality, and the thing that I really respected and loved about him was, no matter where we were, he was very recognisable, not just by people in the baseball community. He was involved in the basketball community when he first came to Perth, but there was people that just knew of Greg Jelks in general, and any time someone would come up to him and speak to him, he always gave them the time of day. He didn't need to know who they were, but he was always very polite and very respectful to at least give those people their 2 minutes of fame as such. If they wanted to come up and, Greg, want a photo, how are you, Greg, you're the best. He always acknowledged that. And no matter what state he was in, whether what time of day or night it was. And,
where we were, that's it.
He was very popular on the after-hours circuit, but he was always willing to take that time to acknowledge that person that came up to him. He would never blow him off as such. And there's probably more times where I sat there and went, man, leave the guy alone, right? But he was such a gentleman. Well loved by all. And it's just a shame that we lost him so young, to be honest.
His, I've had the highs and let's say the lows of Greg, and I don't call it a low because I tell you what, I still tell the story, the life experience I had with him when I disrespected the game once. I disrespected the game in a position when he was in the batter's box, and for one of it took an interesting time. We went toe to toe. It wasn't a pretty sight for me, but we went toe to toe, and in so many certain terms, he taught me a lot about life because as time went on, we gravitated back to each other as friends, and it made me a better person. And this is interesting. It doesn't have to always be positive, the impact you have for a person, because you have to teach life lessons. Jelksy had life lessons. He'd gone through an awful lot in his career on and off the field. No
doubt, growing up in Alabama, very much the southern America, and he'd been through it all, with race issues, etc. And, he was an elite athlete in Alabama. He was a 3-sport star, athletics, basketball and baseball in high school and college. Backed up the greatest third baseman in the history, probably of baseball, in Mike Schmidt.
Yeah.
Others might have got more of an opportunity to play in the big leagues.
Backed up Mike Schmidt.
Warren Hughes found him in Italy and delivered him to the Melville Braves Baseball Club. And I told these kids the story at the showcase last week when he first tried out for the Perth Heat. It was at Parryfield. It was Mike Young and Don Knapp took him down to the batting cage. He didn't even hit on the field. They took him down to the batting cage. I reckon he had 5 hacks, and they looked at each other and went, we better sign this guy.
We better sign this kid right now.
So, while he still was very loyal to the club Melville that he played for, like most of us West Australian boys, he'd come back from a heat trip and he'd go and play for his club team because he loved the game.
Yeah.
He loved the people involved in the game, and that's why, he was such a great personality, is because he loved the people, he loved the game. And people came to watch him, and he always put on a show.
Yeah, and it was a show, and I guess this is a subject that we'll talk about, and it's still a little sore, and I would say it was where you were in Blacktown. I was back here at the time, and we found the news. You were coaching with one of your best mates. You were around baseball players. Just see a bit of a interesting read there by Ben Bird. Feel sorry for him there. I was commentating here at baseball at the time when we'd heard the news, and I'd spoken to you, and it was obviously a major impact because you were at the national championships when we heard this news.
Yeah, look, a good story from bad times probably.
Yep.
I was there. I was part of a coaching staff with Mark Pettit was the head coach, who Mark started his journey in state team coaching back in 1990 with the under-16s WA state team, which I was a part of here in Perth, and we won a national championship. And there was him, myself, Don Kyle and Lee Hogan, so 3 guys who I was very close with. And of course it was a Friday, and we were coming back from a scouting trip, Mark and I, because we weren't playing on the Friday. We weren't playing till the Friday night. And I just happened to leave my phone at home while we went to the ground that morning to scout, and one of my close childhood friends, Michael Hodge, had tracked down Mark's number, and we were in a minibus, and Mark's phone rang, and it was Hodgie, and he unfortunately had got a phone call that they were trying to get hold of me, and that we were expecting him in Sydney that morning because he was coming to stay with us for a few days. And of course he delivered the bad news while we were on a minibus back to the hotel. And I suppose as fortune tells, we didn't have to play that night because we got rained out, which was a godsend, to be honest. But of course, my other dear friend Rod Drew was coaching the state 16s, and they were playing at the time. And I remember taking a phone call from him after he'd finished upon hearing the news, because again he was very close to Greg. And look, it was a tough 2 weeks, but as it turned out, I was in the right spot at the right time, because there was probably nowhere else he'd rather I be than out there on the baseball field. And the support I got from not only my mates being Mark, Don and Hogues, and Drewy and his coaching staff, but Lockie Dale and Baseball WA were amazing support at the time. They offered to do whatever it was that I needed to do, whether it was come home and be with my family. And but for me, it was a no-brainer to stay there and be on the baseball field, because that's what he would have wanted. And to be honest, mate, it was a full-on 10, 12 days, because there was stuff to organise in order to get his body back. And me being there just was the right thing to do. And of course, at the end of the day, we ended up winning a national championship with that group, which we will forever be linked, not just by that, but because of the events of probably what happened to Greg. And it was an amazing reward probably for sticking tough as a group. And I'm just proud to say I was part of that team, and the support we all got in that time was just so amazing and something we'll never forget for a tough time. But, you know, sometimes you've got to make good out of tough situations, and we were able to do that. So a bad memory is also a good memory.
Yeah, I look at it from positive. I remember having a conversation with you when I rocked up to the ballpark the next day. And I guess where I was also leading this to you is I turned up to this ballpark still in, like most of Western Australia, was in shock. But what I did not expect was people to recognise that we had an association with Greg. We, the players that were still here. And we had so many people come up to us, wanted to hug us, wanted to see how we were. Now, this is true Greg. How far he reached to the point of that series. Chris Oxspring, you know, courtesy, buried a Greg Jelks baseball card on the mound before the game. Before he pitched, this was his ounce of respect. So
the reaction from across the country was amazing. I'm not on social media, but I absolutely was looking at Hoag's Facebook site, I think that day, night, whatever, the amount of phone calls and messages I obviously got was just amazing. And of course that night the Perth Heat played, and I think Luke Hughes, wearing 44, hit a walk-off. And we were still awake in Sydney, you know, obviously, you know, commiserating what we've just heard, and I think it was well into the early hours of the morning before we, you know, put our head on the pillow. But there was just a lot of things that went on over that next 10 to 12 days of the community coming together. As a whole, to celebrate someone that was larger than life, that had an impact on the whole country from a competitive point of view and from a person point of view.
Look, another example of how this has impacted. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about this for a reason, because this is what the fund was created for, to impact someone who did so much to the game of baseball in Western Australia and Australia on and off the field. We feel that it needs to be shared, and the positivity that goes with it. And it's only going to grow. It'll get bigger, it'll get stronger. We'll invest more in time, effort and money into making some of these young guys not only remember Greg Jelks, but remember what he stood for everybody else. Because I went to Adelaide 4 days later, and I had Adelaide people contacting me and said, we want to have a party, we want to raise some money for Greg Jelks Fund, we want to celebrate with you the life that it was.
Yeah, and the funeral and the wake was probably like no other we'll ever go to. It was
We've seen two hard hit balls here. I guess for the last couple of innings, you know, we've had Brad Hogg and Jason Hewitt in here, and we've seen some outstanding baseball. I'm glad you're watching it. Guys hitting balls hard to the field. You know, it's a good game of baseball so far from a viewing point. So I'll go to Jason, your role as a father and the things that you've experienced with Jai here, and as a scout and a professional around here.
Yeah, look, this is a great opportunity for these kids in light of the COVID impact with no national tournament. I mean, hopefully it's only a one-year thing, but what we've been able to do here in Baseball.io with the support of the Rays Showcase, you know, Diamond Fitness and the other partners, is give these kids an opportunity to compete against each other, you know, against the best kids we've got here in the under-18, under-16 level here in Perth. And so, like I said, for me as a parent, it's a great opportunity for my boy to get access to a better level of competition. Sometimes I've got to stop and remember he's only 14. But, you know, obviously being his dad, I'm super proud of him, because when he has choices, you know, he wants to get out and become a better person in the game of sport, whether it's his football or his baseball. And again, you know, sometimes you're not surprised by results when you know what the kids are doing as far as the work they're doing when no one's watching. It's the old adage, you know, champions are made when no one's watching, and when you've got choice, what are you doing? And in this day and age, a lot of kids are playing on their electronic systems, and are they going out and spending an hour or two a day running in the park, kicking a footy, throwing a baseball, shooting hoops, doing whatever. So for me, this is just the start of the journey as a parent with Jai, and as I said, I'm just super proud of the way he's gone about his business, but more importantly, I'm just super proud we're able to put programs like this together for youth baseball kids here in WA, because I'm a big picture guy. I want to see all kids grow. I have obviously a big interest in youth and coaching long before my kid came along. And so for me, I'm just happy that my boy enjoys the games I love, which is football and baseball. But in particular, I've always been a baseball coach since I was a young kid in the Perth Heat, and I've enjoyed giving back. And now, with having him involved, it just makes it even more enjoyable seeing the rewards you get from that as a parent, which you can relate to because you've done it with your own boy. And so it's good times ahead.
Yeah, it's fun to be a part of it, and along with that journey, and it's certainly where we're going. Where to for the Greg Jolks Foundation? What are we looking at next?
Yeah, look, we've been very fortunate the last 3-4 years. We've been able to donate some money to any kid that's made the Australian youth team. Of course, this past year there was no international youth tournament or world tournament. Potentially this year there might not be any activity in that space either, but if there is, we will hope to keep being able to give a donation to those kids. We've always been trying to figure out how we can donate to the state programs, because that's something that's very close also to myself and to you and to the team at the Greg Jelks Fund, and of course to the man himself. So if we can keep running a couple of events a year, and we're talking about some things we might be able to do to raise some more money, whether it's memberships to the Greg Jelks Development Fund, selling merchandise, having an old timers day. You know, we've done the old heat versus the new heat the last couple of years. We're talking about ways we can do maybe an old timers day and incorporate some youth baseball in that as well. And you know, we're not going to change lives with the money we raise, but like I said, if we can have a small impact and give back, whether it's 10 or 20 grand a year, back into the baseball to support youth baseballers, well, that's going to make us all pretty happy at the fund. Yeah,
an outstanding achievement to be part of it, and a pleasure to be part of it, pleasure to be your friend and the friend of the foundation, but more so that it's in the right direction for you. It's not just on the field where Greg had one of the greatest impacts. He had such a solid impact off the field, but he's affected you, he's affected me and so many, but it's given us the desire to put back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he certainly taught me how to be a man at a young age, and probably that's why I gravitated to him, you know, being that larger-than-life figure, and we had a lot of good times together, and he was the grandfather of both my children, and so, yeah, it hits hard, but you keep the memory alive however we can, right? We keep celebrating our friends that, you know, as we get older, it only becomes more common that we lose loved ones and friends, and I think this is something hopefully we can keep going for a long time into the future, mate.
Yep. Oh, there you go. Well, thanks for your time, Jason. Hope you enjoy the rest of the night, and everybody be aware that one of the most popular items at a baseball field around Western Australia is a GJ44 hat.
And the branding looks great on these kids' merchandise, and I've got to give a shout out to Mike Keeley at the Garment Exchange in Cap America. We obviously did a bit of a partnership to put a hat together as well, and the branding on the uniforms and the merchandise, Mike's done a fantastic job, and, you know, look for it in the future, because we're going to keep putting it out there.
There you go. Well, thanks for the time, Jason.
Good to see you, buddy. Take
Cheers,
care.
Mate. And we're back to the field, and Flynn McGann sort of, for want of a better word, dealing out there. A couple of little ground ball errors, but what I've seen so far is an extremely high-level competition of baseball. Good hard throwing, lots of base running. A few, you know, I guess technical blunders, we shall call them, because there's some deep balls to that left field that have will catch the most ardent of left fielders out. Unfortunately, Ben Bird's been on the tail end of two situations where he's overrun the ball and ended up the ball's dived back in. That's only going to come from experience, but it's not too often that you're going to see the same ball in that same situation happen again. But I know Ben, he'll bounce back. I certainly know his family will pick him up. And he certainly hasn't given up running around the field. And I'm sure when he gets into the batter's box, you're going to see a very determined man to make up for the opportunities.
This is Jacob Santich in the box at the moment. Flynn McGann remains your pitcher. Paul Morgan's my name. Simon Ison's the expert commentator. Thanks so much to Jason Hewitt, who has joined us off the back of Brad Hogg as well. It's been, well, we've had an Australian cricketer, we've had Olympians.
Look, you know, the fact that those two men, in so many different ways, Jason and I have grown up virtually grown up in baseball. I'm a little bit older than him, let's say a lot older than him. He was the best man at my wedding. I consider him one of my best friends in that space for life. But, you know, as a young man, he's still been able to teach me about life. And not sure whether I've taught him anything other than I'm certainly going to be a friend for life, along with his impact to many people. But his passion for the game transcends more off the field now that I've ever seen. You know, you see Jai, but he's always got this definite passion about the game. And I think he gets a lot of that from Greg. But good luck to the foundation and the best that we can do. And good luck to Brad Hogg in also doing what he's doing. Because, like you said, I could have sat and listened to that man all night.
Absolutely. Jacob Santich strikes out there, bringing up Daniel Choi. So Choi will go about his business. It is a 6-1 ball game in favour of the Biscuits. The Biscuits in the light blue, the Durham Bulls in the navy blue. So of course, the This is the final of the 2-week clinic, and heat baseball, in theory, will make its way back next weekend here.
Next weekend?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. Oh, here we go again.
Here we go again. Choi will that one, so pitch can't get up there for Flynn again now, but
yeah, I can see. We can see there's two pitchers down in the bullpen, sort of getting themselves loose. Sort of just sort of stretching out, doing the bands. It's an interesting thing learning about baseball now. You know, when you go play your old team sport, you go out and you pull and stretch your arm and you do everything else. It don't happen in baseball now.
No.
That certainly does not happen. I run. I stretch my legs. I don't stretch my arms. I move my body around. I do not stretch my arms anymore. I go back. I click on a little band, a driveline band system. I go through a series in motion of actions to sort of activate the muscles in the front and the side and the shoulder of your arms. It's pronation, and it's a stretching routine using a rubber band system. And literally I can grab a ball and throw it instantly without having to ease into throwing. It's such a new experience for me as a veteran type of guy on a baseball field that I don't need to go and do the old calisthenics, as you want to call it.
There you go. Choi bangs one to right field and running out of room, but brilliantly fielded by Tyson Knoll. Makes the catch there. Runner advances from second to third, but for a second there I thought that was going to get past Knoll there. And Choi, I'd love to see how far he would have got, because he's got plenty of wheels, Daniel Choi, but good catch made out there in right. So
and you see that 70s guy taking up, which he should have done there, which is good. Any deep ball. Very quick young man is Owen Pilcher. But there was a good read by Tyson Knoll. I mean, like I said, he's a 6'16" guy in right field. You know, ringing wet at 70 kilos at best, I'd say. But there's a bit of a pun on him. But he knows how to track a ball, spends plenty of time. This is another thing about pitchers in this showcase. They can play positions. Pitchers don't just always pitch, you know. they're athletes.
Yeah.
That's the way we used to think anyway.
So this is... Yeah, that is Daniel Choi. Choi not just get...
I think we had...
Choi grabs the base on the ball, double roll the bases, knocking up left fielder.
I'm not sure what just happened then. We're just gonna go with the flow.
But it's, you know, Ben Bird's playing. I was certain that Choi got caught in right field, but
yeah, I pretty much saw that myself. So I'm either seeing potential catches interference.
Oh, yeah, true.
Catches interference, but the runners have advanced anyway, so the runners would have advanced.
Yep.
That's about all I can think, but he would have got to first anyway.
Well, we're living in an alternate universe.
I was just looking at that.
We've slipped through the time continuum. Anyway, Ben Bird's batting now, so at bat is Ben Bird, and the bases are loaded for the Bulls. So Flynn McGann, big swing from Ben Bird, and he will go down on strikes, but he's got nowhere to go. So Bird strikes out.
Yeah, I just checked in with Guy next door.
Yep.
He's more confused than you and I. Oh, he's notched that down to baseball. Hey, Showcase taught us something. We've seen some interesting umpiring decisions. We've seen some interesting scoring decisions, and we're seeing some good baseball. That's the number one thing. So everybody's here that's watching this game is seeing an excellent game of baseball so far.
Here is Patrick Temby at bat. 59. We'll go with catcher's interference, because that's probably the only thing that makes sense.
No, nothing makes sense. I'm telling you now, catcher's interference, he's still walking down to first base.
Yeah,
so, you know, runners advancing. So I could be wrong, but I'm sure the brains trust of Adam Korcher next door will enlighten us to what happened.
If you know what happened, shoot us a message or come and knock on the door. As bases remain loaded for the Bulls, so an opportunity here. Head the umpire, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. So the Bulls just feel like Temby needs to get this through, as he does get it straight to, and Boyarski fumbles it, so a run scores. That's Pilcher comes home to score as Boyarski makes the error at third. Just so Bojo gets assume the error. Now another opportunity for Jeff Kerr to chip away at
Station to station baseball. You know your situation. We've got 2 out. Concentrate on the at-bat. See the pitch that you need to pitch, drive that pitch into a gap, do the best thing you can do here. Just advance the runners and put more pressure upon the pitchers and the fielders. It's a simple game.
Absolutely. Let's hit hard and deep to right field. What's Tyson Knoll going to do this time? He's going to make the catch. That's what he's going to do because pitchers are athletes, Simon.
There it is.
He made the catch. The bases have been loaded for the Bulls, and the Biscuits are going to go and get the bats again. They lead this one 6-2. Big time out from us. Back for more shortly.
I must have seen a Lifeline ad, I think, and I thought that I would like to do that.
I decided that there was time in my life to do some volunteer work.
I was looking for something to do in a voluntary capacity, and I've always done a lot of things in my own community.
So I thought, well, I've always been good at chatting with people, which is what I've done in my job.
Because when I was a teenager, I had a lot of mental health difficulties, and I guess I wanted to give back and also find out how to effectively help people.
Rock-a-bye, roll-a-bye, rock-a-baby.
Welcome back to Empire Ballpark. We were able to figure out what happened in that last half inning. It was a balk that was called.
By process of elimination, you had to... I was trying to think, why would Daniel Choi not advance? Why would the runners advance? And the only thing that comes into mind now is a balk. Got it confirmed next door, which was good. But we did have an interesting look on our faces. I'm sorry.
That was the only thing that I could think of, but then catcher's interference came up, but I was with the catcher's interference, everybody would have been able to
exactly.
advance,
Everybody would advance. It's exactly what I thought too.
Either way, I think that's Roy Harrison just has an infield single through the 5.5 hole. Get things elating off here in the top of the 5th inning.
If you're a spectator of this game, Guy, you're having fun watching this game.
This game is definitely a little bit more exciting in terms of the overall gameplay, the pace of the game, the pitching that we've seen been very consistent. So a little bit change of pace from the previous 2 days.
Yeah, and we think we see there's Daniel Melancelli and Lee going out for his final visit because Dan's thrown a lot of pitches. But an outstanding effort from a man who has worked very, very hard. He came into Pro League pretty raw, you know, a decent talent, but has grown so much more. He should hold your head very high, Daniel. That was an outstanding job.
Fantastic job. Again, he had a great evening that first inning. He was one of the standout performers from Game 1. Come back here, followed it up in Game 2. Not as much as control as we saw from Game 1, but still threw a very well-pitched game for ratings.
And here he comes in, the lefty. That's all I just call him. I'm just calling him a lefty for now.
39, I believe, is going to be...
Right on the tip of my tongue as well. A young one.
Is that Riley Franklin?
No, that's not Riley.
I went through the first lefty in my mind.
Tyler Paul.
Tyler Paul will be coming on.
I thought it was. There's too many Tyler Pauls. Oh, look at this. You're going to have the best interview of your life, Guy, because my favourite player has just rocked up here. He's now going to take my place, sit in my chair, and you're going to do some young commentary. Here we go.
All right, fans, we have the privilege of being welcomed by Eita Samikawa,
Hello.
local ball club player from Wembley, I believe, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, we've seen you, obviously, 3 days in this tournament. What was your takeaway on this camp and your experience over these 3 days?
I really learned lots from my older people. I learned lots from TK. He really taught me about second base, and he's the same lefty, but he's a switch hitter. But he taught me about left hitter. Yeah.
Now, for those of you listening, TK obviously being Teo Kurosawa, not Tim Kennelly. But that's a great thing. I had the privilege of coaching TK there for a couple of seasons in charter baseball, and he's been a fantastic young man. I believe he just signed to go play college ball. So is that something that you hope to aspire to follow suit in as well?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, what is obviously, what was your experience on this stage? A little bit different than club baseball on the weekends.
It was really different because we had the scoreboards and the TVs coming in, the cameras, and there was those lots of crowds, and I was a bit nervous, but
Luden tomorrow makes a great diving play, just not able to come up and make the throw in time. Base hits runners first and second. Coming to the plate will be number 29, Sam Shepard. So obviously a little bit different than club ball. You have the scoreboard working out there in center field. You actually have the fences. Some of the clubs don't always have the home run fence up.
No.
And getting to play on the dirt infield, don't always have that one at club baseball. And then TV cameras, you get to do interviews like this. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm a bit nervous, but it's really cool to be on the YouTube and channels and stuff.
Absolutely. Shepard takes strike one there. Now, if you were up at bat right now, what would be going through your mind?
I'll just try and hit the ball, but he's a good lefty, and I bat left, so I really think about the outside pitches from the left-handed pitcher, because it's really hard to hit when you're lefty facing a lefty pitcher. Yeah.
Fantastic. Obviously, that one doesn't happen too often, that lefty-on-lefty matchup. It is one of the harder ones in baseball. How many times have you done it?
Maybe 5 times. Yeah, it was really hard. Yeah.
So a little bit different. So something new that you've seen and able to take away. What are things that improvements that you've made during the course of this 3 weeks?
I really think I improved on my fielding at second base, and also batting against those fast pitches that I don't face at club ball.
Now, if Simon could ask you one question that he wants to know the answer of, what would it be, Simon?
Tell me about your club at
Wembley, the club Wembley. It's a very nice club because there's lots of great people that teach us. Like Nick from Perth Heat. He coaches our IL team, and he's a really good coach. But we don't have that much great players that come into these programs, so it's really hard to compete myself with others. Yeah, but it's a really good club.
Fantastic. Obviously, Wembley is a good baseball club. We've had a few good people that come through there. Josh Hendrickson was one that comes immediately to mind, a pitcher for the Heat last season. He's over playing college and pro ball. I think Ryan Sherman was a former coach up there as a state league coach. I think you're currently being coached by the Dutchman himself. Name is eluding me that played for a Heat about 3-4 years ago as well.
I've got a question for you, E.T., because that's what I've nicknamed you, and that's what it's going to be. You're officially known as E.T. I have a teammate that really enjoys your company as opposed to Jared Prosper. So talk to me about Jared. So you know Jared Prosper, the left-handed from Wembley? Oh, you don't know? He's one of the coaches there.
I think I've heard of him, but
Jared Prosper. We've heard of him?
yeah.
All right, well, we can't finish that one if we don't know who he is. That ball will be lasered and gets under Cameron Landy. Runners move up 90 feet, so first run of the inning scores. Roy Harrison comes across the plate. Now coming to the plate, top of the lineup, left fielder Josh Davies. Now, E.T., bases loaded. How many times did you face this situation?
A couple of times in club ball, and I've had this yesterday, I think. Yeah.
And what happened?
I think I hit a single to right field. It was a pretty good hit, I reckon.
All right, the name that I was looking for was Joris van Balgoy. Have you met Joris yet? I think he's the state league coach for Wembley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Joris is a great guy. He's a catcher by trade. So all of a sudden, Joris is the state league coach out there. And have you had any interactions come across Joris?
I think it was like the first practice of this year. He taught us lots about infield and catching stuff. Yeah, it was a really good experience.
Now, where are you from, E.T.?
Japan, down south from Japan.
Obviously, a big baseball country up there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite team?
MLB or.
Well, give me MLB and then give me Japanese.
Oh, the MLB. I don't really have like my favorite, but I like New York Yankees and Angels.
Okay. Any particular reasons?
Not really, because there was some like Japanese people playing there, and I really like to watch them play MLB.
Fair enough. And in a Japanese team?
SoftBank Hawks. They're like our home team. They're like play near us. They're home team.
Okay. I know. Obviously, a couple of the Heat guys, they used to play in the Asia series, and I think a couple of years ago we had a player down from the Nippon Ham Fighters, I believe. Roy. Name's gonna escape me, but it was back when I was working with the Rays. I had one of the first Japanese players down here. So there's been some opportunities within the Australian Baseball League. Is that something that you hope to pursue in the future?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Now, what have you learned this week that you can hope and take back to Wembley? You can teach Joris, you can teach your other teammates. What's something that you're going to take away from this experience?
I really I learned about like switching on to the game. So it like when you like have a bad at bat, you just focus on your positives and like go back on the field positive. And I also learned about picking up your teammates and like being a good teammate. So I really love to like take that back to my club and like share it with others.
Fantastic. Obviously, that short-term memory always helps anyone. Those that can put bad at bats or bad plays in the field behind them quicker tend to end up working their ways into major leagues. I think one of the best examples of that was center fielder Lenny Dykstra. I think he could forget anything that happened, and he used to run into walls too. So might have been something about that one, but it's good to hear that you have learned something. You're able to take something away, and obviously, coaches as you move up the ranks for these 16s, 18 state teams, and even in the future, you always want those great team ball players. We had another run across the plate there as bases were loaded, and I think that is going to be it for Tyler Paul. That's going to be the second visit this inning, so he'll turn things over. We're going to have another pitching change. Simon, anything else that we want to learn from ET?
I just want to keep watching it play.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more for you to give to the game, ET, and I'm really super proud that, in particular, the last two things that you said is absolutely phenomenal.
It's a pleasure speaking with you here this half inning.
Yep.
Hope you had a lot of fun during these 3 weeks and, of course, these 3 games.
Yeah,
Pleasure
I did.
meeting you, and we look forward to seeing more of you in the future.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good one, buddy. We're going to step away for that pitching change. Be right back. Riley Walsh going to be taking the mound. Welcome back to Empire Ballpark. We're here waiting through the pitching change. Tyler Paul, short outing, a little bit rough. Couldn't throw strikes and
started off really, really well. Like we said, he had a bit of a rough outing early on in the first game, and it was a bit of a baptism of fire. But he came out exceptionally, really well guided straight in there, and then all of a sudden thrown strikes. Then ground balls, an error gets him through a base hit. And was sort of leading down a pathway that sort of makes it a bit difficult for him to stay back on the horse. But these are the lessons you've got to learn.
Absolutely.
And if we've got a young boy, E.T., out here whose mental process was pick up your teammates, put bad things behind you and just move on as quick as you can, that's an outstanding ability. And it wasn't prompted, ladies and gentlemen. This just rolled off his tongue. He's willing to take that back to his club ball.
That is a good sign. I mean, Riley Walsh entering the game. Right-hander, played for South Perth baseball, taking a couple of years off and is coming back this season.
And there's something I just saw that I love to see. He's coming with a bases loaded situation with the dead red first pearl fastball hitter, and he throws a bender. Now, it's not the greatest bender in the world, but he's done exactly what you see. You just can't put one in there for Biarski. You just can't put it in there. It's expected to go to the bases loaded and none out. You know what he's going to do on the first pitch he swings, which is good.
Does come back with a fastball and misses just low and in.
Super impressive by E.T. He's looking at me like strange. Who's this old man calling me E.T. all of a sudden? Well, get used to it, kid. That's what any chance I'm going to get the opportunity, that's the name that you're going to be given.
Walsh is the third brother of the Walsh family. I think he had 2 older brothers that ironically played for Wembley Baseball Club. Dylan and forgetting the middle brother's name at the
other guy. We'll just call him the other guy.
The other one.
Yeah, the other Walsh. I had lucky. I coached Dylan in my first year of 18s. Good young talent. Unfortunately, he's not playing the game of baseball anymore. But it's good to see Riley getting back in here.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of coaching Riley for a year or 2 in Central Charter. Definitely good to see him back in playing his trade now as a pitcher. I think he's had experience almost all over the diamond. I know he's been at third, first, and catching, primarily following in the suits of his brother, and now making that name for himself here on the mound in third.
And that's something we haven't discussed much over the last couple of days is where a child has this showcase and has this opportunity in a certain position may not end up where he is going to be when he turns over to college ball. If he gets there and he's talented because I've seen many a catcher turn a pitcher. I've seen many a pitcher turn an outfielder who's been capable of swinging a bat. I've seen many guys that sit in the outfield, but they're more comfortable at first or third or somewhere like that. It's the professional coaches know the difference to see here, and sometimes if you show raw talent, raw arm speed in a certain scenario, you're going to get looked at a bit differently.
Oh, I had the pleasure of learning one of those firsthand. Freshman year, I believe it was back in 2006. A young man by the name of Buster Posey was an All-American shortstop at Florida State University. That year, one of the new assistant coaches brought his son over, so they had 2 All-American shortstops at Florida State. And Buster got behind the mound one day, and the rest is history. He became a catcher and didn't turn back.
Yeah. One of the greatest catches you'll ever see in a great social media. How many stories do you hear of that, though? How many stories do you hear of a minor league player gets up to the big leagues, tries something else, and all of a sudden, that's it. That's your spot. You know, you hear of, this young catcher was an outstanding pitcher. Or this young pitcher was an outstanding catcher. Or something like that. It's very weird. And you think, oh, yeah, they've been doing that all their life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they have not. They've been multi-tooled athletes.
And that's one of the biggest parts. And that goes back to what E.T. was saying, taking away, picking up, being that ultimate team player. Sometimes you just have to play where the coach needs you or has that open spot. Daniel Carter gives that one a ride into left center. And Ben Bird goes down to his knees again and not able to make that catch either. Now this is going to be an interesting one, waiting for the call. It should go, the base should go to the lead runner. Dan Carter ran up thinking runners were going to advance. The fielder did turn both of them almost walked off the bag before they realized what was going on. But Dylan will get to retain possession of the base as Dan Carter advanced on him.
Yeah, the scenario left there is tag both, see what happens. Now that's an interesting thing for Dan Carter, who's obviously a great athlete in runs, but he just didn't have a heads-up situation of what was going on. And it happens.
I think that's also a byproduct too of it almost looked like that catch was going to be made again. So runners weren't on the horses that Dan Carter might have thought. Now batting right fielder number 51, Tyson Knoll.
You hit a ball that hard, you expect it to land safely, not necessarily land in someone's glove, and it did a bit of both.
And, unfortunately, when you think double out the box and you run that way, left a little bit high and dry.
I don't know, I've never hit a ball that hard to be a double out of the box.
Got to think twos and fours, Simon. Got to think twos and fours.
I'd like to think just 90 feet.
Walsh finding a little bit of a rhythm here. Doesn't have much to show for it. It's still no, actually, I believe there should be one out on the scoreboard, and they've just updated it now.
Savant. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I did call that 12-minute inning in the first, and
you missed it by 10 seconds.
Called a few things in second. That ball going to squirt under the 5-hole. Just gets away from Santich. Runners will advance. Dylan over to third. Jackson scoring on the play. So the Biscuits have plated 6 runs in this inning. They ballooned that lead out to 10 now. Running away with it. Bulls trying to limit the damage to be able to stay in. See a little bit of mixture of things from pitches. Riley trying to work in and out and changing some of those eye levels a little bit, but that's probably a little bit of product of having not played for a couple of years.
Look, for him at the moment, it's a situation of he's got the strength, but he doesn't have the strength to repeat. And Arnie Knoll, the pitching coach, says about this, if you can repeat and then find the strength to do this, you're going to be a better pitcher as you go on. So his guys have got to get a certain action, a continuous action, then they get stronger into that. When you get a guy who can repeat something, it becomes very, very coachable. And this is what Arnie likes to see from a lot of these guys is show me a good action, a good fastball where they reach out in front, they stride properly, and then I will make you bigger, stronger, and a better pitch. As you see that ball, that's going nowhere. That bounces over the back of the screen.
That ball off the toe cap of the leg guard and up over the back net. Tyson will trot down for ball 4. Dylan trotted home for the 7th run of the inning. We're going to take a quick break. There's a meeting on the mound taking place. meeting of the minds done here. Riley Walsh back on the mound, ready for action. Oh, count here to Rui Harrison. Fastball outside corner.
I'm going to replay that for you and for Lee. Lee's going to like you saying that was a meeting of the minds.
Well, you have to give everybody a few things there, so. Walsh throws that fastball about 58 feet on the outside corner, bouncing just in front of the plate.
That's a good reason why catchers wear protective gear, isn't it? 81 miles an hour, one hopper into the dirt, straight off his shin guards. Temby's having a really interesting time by there.
I believe that's Santich behind the plate, unless they change things up.
Yeah, that's Temby. I just saw I recognise that face. I think Santich is at first base now.
Those defensive changes that we're not always privy to until they make them, so. Of course, that's probably a little bit of a product of Walsh might be a little bit more familiar. Timby and Walsh are South Perth products, trying to help him find those comfort zones. Harrison watches the 3-1 pitch on the outside corner. Be ball 4. Runners advance to first and second.
And then we have another visit. So the second visit by Lee Moyle means we lose a pitcher.
We'll close the door on Walsh's evening. He is responsible for the runners on first and second. While we await for the new pitcher, we'll step away for another break thanks to Diamond Fitness.
I must have seen a Lifeline ad, I think, and I thought that I would like to do that.
I decided that there was time in my life to do some volunteer work.
I was looking for something to do in a voluntary capacity, and I've always done a lot of things in my own community.
So I thought, well, I've always been good at chatting with people, and which is what I've done in my job.
Because when I was a teenager, I had a lot of mental health difficulties, and I guess I wanted to give back and also find out how to effectively help people.
Rock-a-bye, roll-a-bye, rock-a, baby.
Welcome back to Empire Ballpark. Taking a look at the win. Howling in again this evening from left center. Pitching change for the Bulls on the mound now, right-hander, number 26, Riley Marsh.
Let's start hungry, boys. Let's go.
This is a great opportunity for a young pitcher coming into a situation. You're 13-2 down with a runner at first and second. Just throw strikes. That's the number one thing you need to concentrate. Get your team back into the game as quick as they possibly can. If it means you put the ball straight down the middle just to keep the play flowing over, you know, throw the cards out where they may, but the idea is throw strikes, let the guys swing the bat, give yourself the best opportunity to use the rest of the field behind you.
Batting now for the Biscuits, Ada Simikawa's favorite player from the tournament.
Not
Teo
Tim Kennelly.
Kurosawa. TK will chop that one foul off his shoulder. We'll await the 1-1 pitch. TK, a product of Vic Park Baseball Club. Recently signed to play college ball next year.
Is he in Chicago somewhere? I think I've got a memory on that one. Good on. Look, this kid has been doing an exceptional amount of hard work at his game. He's figured out he needs to get stronger, but going over to America for him, apart from being a dream, is also something that he needs to get his game better. So you'd like to think he gets into the program. And this is what we see with a lot of players that go from competitions like this. You don't have to be the best player. You have to show a commitment to the cause. And that is on and off the field. And he did the Cert 4 at Diamond Fitness. Now, I saw a young man who was not necessarily shy. He was quite popular, but he was certainly not outspoken enough onto the baseball field. He goes into the Diamond Fitness program. He gets under the wing of, you know, and let's just say Dean takes him under his wing, under the program, the Cert 4, the training and SATs, everything he's doing. And he becomes a different man. Around different people, he gets to mingle with older people that come to the gym, professional athletes. He starts to see a different part of the world. It's not just about how you play the game on the field, how you hold yourself off the field. It's going to give you the opportunity to sign a professional contract, get to the next level.
Obviously, I had the pleasure of coaching TK as a 13 and 14-year-old on the charter baseball team, and it's hard to describe him. I mean, he's just overall just a great young man, but he's always been a sponge. He wanted to consume information. He wanted to learn the craft, ply the trade, and you know, he's that guy that's kind of that first one in and the last one out.
Absolutely.
And just probably can't speak highly enough of him.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the reasons he's got signed, is his commitment to wanting to succeed.
Sam Shepard now at the plate. Curacao had popped out for the second out of the inning.
Solid fastball by Riley Marsh there. I mean, he's a young boy. He's still getting into his body, so to speak, about pitching. But 81 miles an hour.
Shepard's going to lace that one down the left field line. Bird keeps his feet this time, fires in. Shepard with the RBI single. Runners first and second still. Biscuits continue to add to that lead.
But this is what you have to do. This is what Rowley has to do. He has to throw strikes. These guys have to put good swings, as Sam Shepard did then. That was Sam Shepard, wasn't it?
It was Sam Shepard,
yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Smiley. That kid has a smile that literally lights up a ballpark.
Those are always the good things. Now we have designated hitter Aaron Brown stepping up to the plate. Runners first and second. Brown's going to deposit that one just in front of Bird in left field. Hits the cutoff man, and I believe that's Roy Harrison diving back into third safely. So bases will be loaded. We've had 8 runs score this inning, so we have batted around. We're working on, I think, 3 batters past.
Yeah, watch this. Look at him turn hard. Then Aaron Ottaway gets him. Just hold up. And he has to apply the brakes on. What? Hang on, I got to stop. Get back. There we go. And Luden Tiamara's right there. Cameron Landy gets over the back of him. Many a player have been seen called out on that situation when they're not having the awareness to get back to the base. They hold up, and all of a sudden the shortstop's right there.
Absolutely.
Positive for Ben Bird. Hits the cutoff on his chest.
That's the big part. We've seen a few missed cutoffs over these couple of days. Now batting left fielder Josh Davies. Davies gets under that one a little bit, puts it up at the light tower height of the eyes. That'll be caught by Caleb Goodwin to end the inning. So that will end the top of the 5th for the Biscuits, but they played 8 runs, Strand 3 after 4.5. Biscuits 14, Bulls 2.
I started my career at Fitness First after having just graduated as a master trainer from the Institute. Now, I'm the owner and director of Lift Performance Centre. I work with elite athletes and sporting teams like Jared Hayne and South Sydney Rabbitohs, helping them reach their peak performance. It was a no-brainer really which institute to go to. The Australian Institute of Fitness already had the best reputation for the quality of their education. It's delivered so many successful graduates, and I wanted to make sure that I was one of them. One of the things I really enjoyed about being full-time at the Australian Institute of Fitness was the support that we received from the coaches. They were always there to help us with our questions. Whilst training there, we had access to all the important gear and, of course, terrific coaches to show us how the equipment was used and best ways to facilitate that in our own training programs. The Institute has helped my career immeasurably. It was a starting point for me, and it was a place where I learnt many of the initial lessons that I needed to learn to make it in the industry. Some of the advice I would give to people wanting to start their fitness journey is to really commit yourself to education, really commit yourself to learning the business of fitness. I often get asked where's the best starting point for people wanting to get into the industry, and I recommend them to the Australian Institute of Fitness as a really good starting point to springboard them into the industry. It all starts here.
Welcome back here to Empire Ballpark. Paul Morgan is my name, Guy Belair. Simon Arsons has taken a coffee break out to the suite to our right, which is a lovely part to take in this game, but it is a rough one for the Bulls at the moment. They trail the Biscuits 14-2. Flynn McGann continues to ply his trade on the hill. He's going about his business nicely, and in for the Bulls leading things off, the 14 Cam Landy. And I sort of escaped for a minute, Geezer, and the runs pile on.
Certainly did. Left me a lot of effort. We had a couple of conversations. The young man, Aita Simikawa, and a few pitching changes as the Biscuits blew the game open. Flynn McGann has been a very impressive player here. I think we had, from the first evening we talked about, it was one that he may have been a surprise player from the last 6 months. As I think someone said he's added about approximately six miles per hour on his fastball. So he's gone from being 79-80 to touching 85-86.
He's done a good job tonight. He's got his team all the way to the bottom of the fifth. They have a 12-run lead as that pitch is in, just missing. But go and ask first base umpire. He said no, thank you very much. So the Montgomery Biscuits, there he is there. Of course, as I said earlier to Simon, the great man who is the PA for up in Wanneroo when they do that awesome Little League showcase. That one's banged to the shortstop. Sam Shepherd throws across to Dan Carter in time. First out.
Landy able to hit that one up the middle. Shepherd had trouble on a couple of easy grounders this evening, able to make that one and fire it over for that out. That'll bring to the plate third baseman Luden Tamara.
So there's some people in broadcast. We've had some people watching in Japan, some people watching in Europe, in Wisconsin, and India, Serbia even. Good stuff. Love to cover the globe as much as we can here on Talking Baseball. It's not Talking Baseball Australia. It is the showcase.
We are talking baseball.
We are talking baseball in Australia. So, of course, we did the Talking Baseball Australia show this morning, Friday mornings on Facebook. Just if you ever want to get up at 7 a.m. and listen to Dan Vaughan and myself rattle on about conspiracy theories and baseball and what is actually going to happen in the ABL, feel free. Luden Tamara missed that one, but of course, Heat play tomorrow. They play the double dip in Adelaide against the Bandits and the Giants.
I believe game times are 10 a.m. and about 4:30 Australian Western Standard Time.
Something like that. I got an 8:45 game, I think, on Monday. Samaras strikes out, but he's going to reach in time as Rui Harrison, the ball got away from him on the strike three.
Rui did a good job dropping to his knees. Unfortunately, he just managed to catch the leg guard at the wrong angle. Instead of bouncing in front of him, managed to bounce off towards the third base dugout. Allowed Tamara to scamper down to first.
That's where he is now as Owen Pilcher comes into the box now. McGann stares down to Pilcher, the off-speed 68 mile an hour So I'm impressed by McGann still going. I mean, it's you know, this age group, you tend to think you get a couple of innings out of guys, you're doing pretty well. That one looked closer.
Even tomorrow had a little bit of a smile saying that one might have been a little bit quicker than I thought. So, as you said, the only thing that I think I've noticed from Flynn is I think he's dropped about 3 or 4 miles an hour as he's progressed. That pitch count has increased. Pilcher fouls that one off.
Here we have McGann. It's up for Pilcher. So 1-2 count. The Biscuits 14-2 winners.
Now, if memory serves me correct, we were scheduled to play a 9-inning game, but with the run rule being in effect, potentially it could be 7.
That one's going to get past Sam Shepherd there, the shortstop. So the Bulls will get a couple of runs on the go.
And that ground ball going through Shepherd will send Owen Pilcher to first and Timar second.
As we watch that one, you hate to be critical of the young man, but these are some of those easy, routine ground balls that are just not being fielded cleanly. And I think Sam Shepherd is attributed to all 3 of those errors this evening.
So this is now Caleb Goodwin. So Goodwin will take a big swing at the first. Jai Hewitt coming up shortly, of course, who is a big part of the Crabs winning in the last game against the Crabs. Beat the Montgomery Crab, the Bowling Green Hot Rods. Number 54, Caleb Goodwin swings. That one's going to go foul down third base side. Of course, the kiddos down there, his teammates, the Biscuits down there on the left field line. They'll be waiting for the Jason Hewitt Cup to be presented to them. The Bob Ossie Cup being presented to, likely as that one is a big strikeout for Flynn McGann. So second strikeout for McGann this inning, but unfortunately the last one is standing on second base.
Runners first and second, not advancing on that play, so nowhere for Goodwin to go. That'll bring up Jacob Santich.
It will bring up Jacob Santich. The Santich, and there'll be Choi after that.
Been a little bit of impressed here with Santich over the 3 days. I think he's been a fairly consistent hitter and had a great approach for most of his at-bats over the 3 games.
The Brains Trust next door, they're looking at potential gold glovers, potential MVPs, etc., etc. As that one's hit. Here you go, that's better. Stands on the bag for 1, but just can't turn it in time because he doesn't need to turn it because there's 2 out. So
a little bit handcuffed on whether to flip that ball or take it himself. He does manage to get that out. That will end the inning.
But he does indeed. But 14-2 the score here. Quick timeout from us. I believe we'll be back with Jai Hewitt right after this.
I must have seen a Lifeline ad, I think, and I thought that I would like to do that.
I decided that there was time in my life to do some volunteer work.
I was looking for something to do in a voluntary capacity, and I've always done a lot of things in my own community.
So I thought, well, I've always been good at chatting with people, and which is what I've done in my job.
Because when I was a teenager, I had a lot of mental health difficulties, and I guess I wanted to give back and also find out how to effectively help people.
Rock-a-bye, roll-a-bye, rock-a, baby.
Welcome back to Empire Ballpark. We've got Jai Hewitt. We're going to press the on-air button, and Jai, it's going to make you. Is this your broadcasting debut? You're almost up in the booth.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. So, Jai, of course, was a big part of the under-16s, which he has got himself. Wouldn't say gold medal, but it's they've won the Jason Hewitt Cup, which is great for Riley Marsh. Continues to ply his trade, but. Jai, congratulations. I mean, you had a great game. You had 3 hits from memory, and the best hit of the tournament so far, I would have thought, was that sweet double that you cleared the bags.
Yeah.
Loaded, bases loaded.
Yeah, it felt good off the bat. Knew that was going far.
Tell us about the at-bat. What do you remember from it? What was the approach?
Oh, just, I know Dawson, the pitcher, he likes to throw his curveball to me. Just waiting for that curveball in, got my hands out into it, drove the ball in. Good feeling.
Just like that. So, how's this experience? So you've been here for the whole couple of weeks. How's this experience been for you? What are the highlights? What are the things you've enjoyed the most?
Oh, it's definitely good experience. With the tournament not going on, it's something really good in WA. Experience is good. The stuff the coaches and stuff have taught us are really helpful and stuff. Yep. Hope that goes good towards my game, and I've definitely taken a lot of stuff out from all the coaches.
So for you now, what part of the game what part of your game are you sort of spending the most time working on at the moment?
Probably more my catching.
Yep.
Getting into the blocking and stuff.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff I'm trying to work on right now.
Played a bit of third base, and you played. You caught to start the game. That one's hit to first base. Marsh is going to cover and get him just in time. Umpires there on the dial. Preferably defensively, you want third base or catcher? What's your preferred?
I prefer
preference?
The third base. Playing the infield, I like the third base.
Beautiful. And from a hitting perspective, and what have you learnt from here? What maybe is one key area from as a hitter? What's something that you've picked up, or a coach has told you here that you thought, okay, maybe I'll make some adjustments there?
Yeah, more with my stride. Usually I would keep my leg swing would be too high. Wouldn't get my foot down in time when the pitch comes, and that would cause a lot of pop-ups. And the coaches here have told me to get that foot down early so you can line drives through the alleys, and it's definitely good.
Marsh pitch. Boyarsky will be at bat. Boyarsky hits that one hard and deep to that short stop. Is going to come around and drop it in the end, but Boyarsky will find himself on first base. But then for you, it's how you've won the Jason Hewitt Cup. I mean, you've won the cup named after your dad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Definitely, I didn't even know that was the Jason Hewitt Cup.
So there you go. And for you as well, part of this as well, one of the sponsors is all for the Greg Jelks Foundation as well, which, Greg, good part of your life as well. I mean, it must be nice to do something as a young player coming up. It must be nice to do some things in Greg's honour as well.
Yeah, definitely. Everything that I do in baseball is always for him. It always has been ever since his passing.
Yep.
All my games, everything I do, it's all for him.
It's a very good way to be. And you're playing footy in winter as well?
Yeah, I'm playing footy.
You're a Carlton fan.
Yeah, love the Carlton Football Club.
Yeah.
Get that from Dad.
There you go. So how do you think the Blue Baggers are going to go this year?
Big hopes in this year. Big hopes.
It's funny because when I was I'm a St Kilda supporter, so I can't really talk to anyone about anything. But when I was growing up, particularly in the the 80s, 90s, or more so 90s, it was. I mean, Carlton were dominant. Now, probably
Yeah.
in your lifetime, they haven't been really that great at all.
Not really, yeah. It's like, wish I was in the 90s where Dad and stuff was when they were winning premierships.
Yep. So you'll have to hang and wait for a while. But
hoping for it soon.
So what's next for you, baseball wise?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. Really, I'm hoping just for the best. And
It's being fouled down the left field line.
I'm hoping that I can get good things out of baseball.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I could probably look it up, but I'm looking Major League Baseball. Who's sort of the guy you look at the moment? And go, yeah. If I could model my game on who would it be?
Definitely Mike Trout.
There you go.
I love the way Mike Trout plays. His power. He's got speed. Obviously, I don't have that much speed, but
well, if you're going to emulate someone, you may as well be the best player in the league. So I guess that's a good place to be. So, I mean, for you, it's I guess to do something like your dad did. I mean, you sort of sit at heat games and go, gee, boy, I wouldn't mind getting out there in the heat uniform one day.
yeah.
That one's hit down the left field line. He's going to score a run as well as Boyarsky comes home to score. He's got himself a nice stand-up double. And do you look at the guys that have gone into the minor league camps and things like that, and just think, oh, that could be a bit of fun getting over to America at some point?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the experience. A lot of boys have told me that it's like good fun and stuff to go in the minors camp and get all the experience out. And yeah, I hope to get there one day.
So what was? So how did you go at 7:30 getting down here in the morning? How'd you go? Were you rough in the morning, or you all right?
I mean, yeah. Sometimes it was a bit tough, and but got used to it really, so it's okay.
Was number 60? You wore 66. Was that just the number you were given,
Number
or was
they
it?
were given, yeah. Number I was given.
I thought you were trying to do a bit of Puig or something with the 66. I thought there was, you had the chain on. I thought it's all working for you. But anyway, we got the number. So there's meeting of the minds on the mound, and Isaac Meldrum will come into the game to hit. But so now there's State League. You're back playing.
No, I am not old
not a State League. No, State League. You're playing
Big League 2s.
Big League 2s.
2s, yeah.
Saturdays or Sundays?
Saturdays.
Saturdays. That'll be okay. So then, so for you, it's what year are you going into school this year?
Year 9.
Year 9.
Year 9.
Geez, getting into that middle school area now.
Yeah.
Like it's getting to the tail end of it. So if Carlton ring you or the LA Angels ring you and say you've got a contract, which one are you signing at the moment?
That's a hard question, to be honest. I don't know. I love both sports, but I really don't know how to answer that question.
Well, you take whichever one is better for the future. But
yeah.
So baseball's in full swing. Like, I mean, how are you finding it? Do you find anything with like playing footy and playing baseball? Are you finding anything? I mean, are you finding the endurance maybe that you get from footy is helping you with baseball? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like the running and stuff. Obviously, in baseball, there's not a lot of it compared to football, but football definitely gets me in that physical, like better shape than baseball does, and it gets me ready for baseball season.
Who's your favourite blue bagger?
Probably Patrick Cripps.
Yeah, Cripps. There you go. I was always thinking, like before, when I found out you and your dad were Blues, you probably would have preferred the Durham Bulls kit with the old Navy Blues.
Yeah, I like the Bulls. Yeah.
The voice you're hearing is Jai Hewitt, who was part of the under-16s. He got, was it a tie ball game or you one run ahead when you got one run ahead? And then if you missed it, go back and have a look at the footage. It was a nice shot out to left centre and scored. The bases were loaded. And all three runners come home to score. You ended up on second base, and that was a game. And from there, you and the team, the Stone Crabs, have gone and in a minute, at the end of the seventh inning, you'll win that. You'll lift the Jason Hewitt Trophy. So
yeah, good feeling. That'll be a good feeling.
So
can't wait.
So the guys, for all the guys, I mean, is it nice? I mean, is this tournament a nice way to sort of finish the 2 weeks as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the boys and the Stone Crabs, we've definitely been working hard, and it's just good to come out with the Jason Hewitt Cup And I feel like it's been a good experience for all of them. There was a lot of young boys in our team, and I feel like it's a good experience for them.
Ben Bird is your pitcher at the moment. Isaac Meldrum is in the box. 15-2, the Biscuits lead the Bulls. This will be cut short just on the run rule to a 7-inning game. Guy Blair makes his way back in the booth, but Jai Hewitt is with us at the moment. Of course, son of Jason Hewitt. Apparently, you guys play a bit of basketball at home as well. Just
It's tough game of basketball. Just father-son thing that we do. Very tough backyard basketball.
Who's better? Have you got him yet?
Multiple times I have got him.
Really?
Yeah. He's not as good. He's not as good as he seems, but yeah, he likes to get physical.
So when you count, does it get? That must be a bit of fun for you though in the backyard.
Yeah, definitely fun. Yeah. What?
You can finally hold your own.
Yeah.
So here's TK in the box. 15-2 is the score. How's Dad as a hitting coach for you? Does he give you plenty of tips and tricks and?
Yeah, he does.
Pretty handy himself.
Definitely helps me with my swing every time I've like done something wrong. He always tell me what I've done wrong and what I need to improve on. And he's always there for most everything: batting, fielding, catching. He's always there for me.
And I guess you'd be pretty proud of the way that your dad's gone about as well and built this Greg Jelks Foundation. Yeah. It's really such a great thing, and I think that's one thing in the community of baseball and WA. It's such a great thing with its Team Spencer or the Greg Jelks. It's just so that, it's pretty cool to watch your old man build something pretty special.
Yeah, definitely proud of him. All the work he's put into it.
As Bird will pitch to TK and. Miss 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down. Bird will get set again. Now, what do you think of the kits, by the way? The uniforms and the hats, they all look
nice.
pretty good.
I like them. Yeah, they're nice.
It's hit hard, but foul down the right field line.
Mike Keeley's done a good job with the uniforms. Yep. I like them.
Yeah, they're really cool. So, of course, the good people at the Garment Exchange, Mike Keeley, mentioned earlier in the broadcast, if you're looking to upgrade your kit for your club, go and talk to Mike at Garment Exchange. But I think it just, and the concept of sort of being broken up into 4s and being Tampa Bay Rays sort of affiliates all kind of works pretty well.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I like the way they've set this whole thing up.
And have you learnt much? How'd you go on the Spanish lessons?
Tough to pick up Spanish. One of the boys, Carlos, Spanish. He can speak Spanish. He definitely helped me a little bit. It's a hard language, I reckon, to speak Spanish.
Guy Blair in here, of course, lives almost border of Mexico and the US in some ways. Not really, but sort of-ish. Yeah, it was good. So you did Spanish lessons, you had your personality tests, you did a lot of physio stuff, Diamond Fitness, of course, did a lot of stuff. Dean White and the crew at Diamond Fitness helped you guys a lot. As they're down on strikes goes TK, and that'll do the inning. And Jai will let you run, but appreciate you stopping by for your first trip to the booth. And
Thank you very much.
Look forward to calling your name when you're up in the heat colours in a few years to come.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
No worries. Jai Hewitt there. We'll turn these off and take a break. Back shortly.
Yes, good. I started coaching at the Institute in 2006. Today I present internationally, work for commercial brands and run my own online training business. And in 2014 I was named Australian Personal Trainer of the Year. I have over 2 decades experience in the health and fitness industry, and I firmly believe that there is no better personal training or massage program than what is offered at the Institute. I started back there when I was relatively new in my career. The people were amazing, the coaches, the friends who come through the Institute are just amazing. And it's such an environment that sets everybody up for success and high motivation. So there's a lot of energy, and I just love it. The Institute was a pivotal moment in my career. It absolutely catapulted me in a completely different direction. And I wholeheartedly believe if I hadn't had the opportunity to work for the Institute, I would not be doing what I absolutely love and adore right now. What advice would I have for somebody wanting to start their fitness journey? You know what? Just start. It sounds super cliche, but it's the truth. No matter if you're feeling anxious or worried or concerned or you're a bit scared to make the leap, do yourself a favour and just leap. It all starts here.
Welcome back to Empire Ballpark here. 15-2 is the score. We're off to the what? We're off to the 7th gig.
This will be the
bottom of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th.
Should be bottom of the 6th.
It is bottom of the 6th. The 0 on the scoreboard always puts me off before it starts.
I think they jumped the gun a little bit quick there. Put that 0 up.
Because normally in ABL games anyway, they won't do the 0, so you'll. The 0's been throwing me off at this, and I've been half inning ahead.
Stays blank until the runs are actually scored or the actual 0 needs to go up. But I think that's part of the scoreboard learner.
It's part of the learning. It's all part of it.
I think they have the L plates on the scoreboard operator tonight.
Paul Morgan's my name. Guy Belair is Geeze's name. That one's hit to Moyle. That's short. Moyle throws across to Meldrum to get the out.
Pitching change for the Biscuits. Obviously, that's
like
left-hander Tyson Knoll on the mound.
Yep. Former athletic right fielder before. / left-handed pitcher now. It's tall lad, isn't he?
Man, we'll have to ask Arnie how much he's actually grown, but I'm pretty sure I remember him being about at Arnie's chest level, and I think he's bigger, or he's taller than his dad now. So.
Yep.
And I remember, obviously, he's grown up. You got to hear B.J. Cook speak yesterday, and Cook and Maddox and Tyson have been around each other for the last however many years playing baseball together. And Tyson was always the shortest of the bunch, and I think he's now the tallest.
I'll tell you how tall he is. So he's 196 centimeters, which is 6'6".
And I'm pretty sure he's grown at least 8 of those inches in this last year.
Here's Caitlin Anion. Strikes out on Noel. Enion struck out. They'll bring up Patrick Tenby.
Noel using a good bit of command, both his fastball and his off-speed pitches. Great movement on that curveball before as it started off the plate and broke back on towards the hitter.
Of course, it's the showcase, the final piece of the puzzle. Bottom of the 6th is a 7-inning game. So after this, it'll be the presentation of the Bob Ossie Cup for this game, but they will also have the 16th game of the presentation of the Jason Hewitt Cup, which is won by, you just heard him, Jai Hewitt, Jason's son, and his team, which were the Port Charlotte Stone Crabs, who defeated the Bowling Green Hot Rods, and in this one, it's the Montgomery Biscuits, well and truly out in front of the Durham Bulls. And that's our good mate Mike Keeley at the Garment Exchange. His logo, as mentioned, Mike did all the kits here and the hats and everything in between. I just had a good deep dive in the uniforms when I was out the back before, and just Mike's done such a good job on those ones. As you see, as the kiddos get to working some minor league apparel, which will make them happy as Noel kicks and delivers. That one's hit high and deep into the night. Got onto that one, but circling.
That's
making the
Olympus
catch.
making
Olympus.
that catch out in center field.
And that will do us. So we are now headed to the 7th inning game, which is the 7th and final inning, we believe. So we'll take a quick time out. Thanks for your company. Back for more right after this.
I must have seen a Lifeline ad, I think, and I thought that I would like to do that.
I decided that there was time in my life to do some volunteer work.
I was looking for something to do in a voluntary capacity, and I've always done a lot of things in my own community.
So I thought, well, I've always been good at chatting with people, which is what I've done in my job.
Because when I was a teenager, I had a lot of mental health difficulties, and I guess I wanted to give back and also find out how to effectively help people.
Rock-a-bye, roll-a-bye, rock-a-baby. Now I know, now I'm ready to go.
Welcome back to the Bob Ossie Cup here, the State 18s championship game, the Bob Ossie Cup, as mentioned, between the Bulls and the Biscuits, the Durham, representing the Durham Bulls and the Montgomery Biscuits. And Daniel Choi is now on the mound, and Simon Islands is making his way into the booth, so I will exit stage right for the Iceman to come and finish this game off. And, Simon, jump back in.
Pitching change for the Durham Bulls. Now going to be on the mound, Daniel Choi.
Been there, done that with Daniel. Ability to do it. Pitched in the 18s in one of our qualifying games. Did a really good job against Queensland.
Daniel, of course, a product of the Melville Baseball Club. He's second baseman, a catcher, a pitcher.
He's pretty. Yeah, he's a very versatile player. So I wouldn't say he gets around, but he's honestly still struggling to find where he plays. But that's an asset in the best of clubs, isn't it?
It certainly is. I mean, knowing that a coach can plug him into any hole he might find. But as I've always said, I like players like this because the versatility allows you. He's going to be a player somewhere.
Just in this, and there's the lack of pitcher etiquette there. Watch his head. Oh, yeah. Don't show him. Yeah, he comes back with a good strike after that, but don't show him up, son. Because trust me, you get an outside edge there. Comes back, good high fastball, but you get a ball just on the outside edge. Trust me, those umpires have memories.
They do have memories. I'm not sure that Simon Isons didn't teach him that move, though.
No, I don't. I never did that. That's the one thing I never ever did was show an umpire up. In fact, I was probably the opposite. I was questioned. I asked nicely, was that up or down? And it was always when it was close. I was going, was that down? And yeah, okay, thank you very much. And yes, sir, no, sir. There were umpires. They were. I've only been ejected from one game from showing disrespect, and I learned my lesson very quickly from there.
I know where the line is, and I can maybe go there very quickly, and sometimes I go over it. I haven't ever been ejected from it in a pitching standpoint, but
Maury Reynolds. I was playing against Melville Braves, and I said to Maury at the beginning of the game, we were talking about, I think he had a couple of games the night before, and he ejected a couple of players, and he said to me, I said, I've never been ejected from a game, and he goes, there's always a first.
I was able to say that until about 3 years ago, and I got ejected for something I didn't even do. But it is what it is sometimes.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Jackson Limpus. Sorry, no, that's actually Josh Davies batting right now. Jackson Limpus on deck.
This is something Daniel has to work on with his pitching. As you can see, he's channeling so much energy into what he has to do. You just want him to slow down a little bit. And this is what we did do in the 18s with him, is slow him down a little bit, get back into the strike zone, because once he starts rushing, it's a natural energy that unfortunately is not a good energy to have on a mound sometimes. That's 2 walks in a row.
Davies will draw that base on balls. Runners now first and second. I think we've had a change now, so Olympus no longer in the game. I believe that's going to be number 36. Is that Riley Franklin?
That's correct.
Riley Franklin entering the game now.
So we had 2 pitches and yeah, 2 pitches so far. They're on bases. What?
Now you like to see what he is challenging that zone.
Yep.
It's a hard strikes right away.
You're 15-2 down. Just throw the ball down the middle and just see what happens. You still want to commit to the pitch. And just keep doing that time and time again.
Franklin a little late on that fastball. Fouls it. Back to the net. Waits the 0-2 pitch, and he'll watch that one just below the knee. Strike 3.
Yep, good pitch. Right at the bottom of the zone. Right there, good frame. Excellent frame by Temby.
Now coming to the plate, third baseman Dylan Boyarski. What are some of the...
Good hack, good pitch. This is exactly what I wanted to see. He's slowed his rhythm down. He throws a decent strike. He throws at a decent velocity. That's 81. And, you know, Boja's going to hack, but, you know, it's a dangerous pitch. You don't want to necessarily every time. Look at that. 81 again. This is what he did in the 18s. When we needed him, this man came out.
Bojo gives that one a ride. Hit into center field, but right fielder comes over and makes that catch. That'll be the third out of the inning. So a quick one ultimately for Choi. We'll come back for the bottom half of the 7th after 6.5, 15-2 in favor of the Biscuits. Welcome back to Empire Ballpark. We're here for the bottom of the 7th, the Bob Ossie final between the Bulls and the Biscuits. The Biscuits have a 15-2 lead, and we now have a pitching change. Jay Reynolds.
Young Jay Reynolds. Look, this is what we call redemption. Jay needs to figure out what happened the other night. He didn't have the best outing. Looks like he's played a bit of baseball and he's sweated a lot, but he needs to get the ball down in the zone. He's got a good live arm when he gets there. He's a tall, strong, athletic type of guy. I said this before. He's got a really, really good tank, an athletic tank in his body. And he's got a little bit of mongrel in when it comes out, but he needs to be able to channel that part of his game. He's standing, you know, lazy 6'4", 6'5". He threw an amazing game for us over in the 18 championships. So let's just see, can he make those adjustments from the very first day?
He wasn't alone. There were a few guys that struggled to find the zone or play games that weren't of expectations or what we think is a normal circumstance. First pitch out there misses up and away.
At 85, though.
Gotta like his attitude there. It's a hard throwing action. Again, follows up with an 84. That's what you like to see. He's going after the hitter. Of course, the new hitter here at 37 should be Brad Horsley.
What I want to see is the ability to make an adjustment. Get that ball down, channel, keep the body mechanics that we know he's got, and just pound the middle of the zone, because a good 84, 85 mile fastball is going to give you more of a chance than anything. I mean, that's a 3-0. He gets the top of the zone at 83. Now just bring it down a notch. Stay at 83. Stay at the bottom of the zone.
That's one thing that these kids got to see Warwick Soppold throw the other day. Soppold threw today's action. I don't know if you were able to see that one, but one of the comments says when he missed, he was missing down.
Yep.
And we see here, Jai, when he's missed, he was missing up, able to make those adjustments, come back after being down 3-0, gets the strikeout.
Just at the top of the zone, 86. Now, again, just a minor adjustment. And for that adjustment, slow the body down a little bit more and just extend a little bit more and get the release point out. And you drop that ball another good 2 or 3 balls to an unhittable area.
Cameron Landy now facing Jai. And he's had a good tournament.
It's 87, that one. He's creeping up there.
Leveling up as he throws along and starting to consistently hit that 86 mark for sure. Kind of see your eyes creeping over to that radar gun reading every single time.
Nice little pop every now and then. There you go. Oh, great pitch.
Nice off speed there.
I would have been begging just quietly. But that's not a bad thing. You're up, and it's good for the catcher to change, learn how to get the ball out in front.
Nice adjustment there after. Sometimes, like you said, you just need that change of pitch to break that rhythm, break that pattern.
Yep, good 85.
And that fastball, 85 again, comes down to waist level. Now at least he's made that adjustment. He's coming down now. We'll see if he can make that final adjustment for a little bit more control.
Now I'd like to see him reposition himself on the mound there. We see it's just down in the zone, but it's down and away. Again, look where his body's falling off that mound. You drive everything towards the plate, towards the catcher, your chin, your arm, your whole body towards it. You've only got one place to go. At the moment, he's falling off because his arm is dragging him away.
Another bench player entering the game, 31. I think that's Kai Cahill.
Yep.
Cahill coming in for the Bulls. Jay has, obviously, he's gone from the windup into the stretch now with that runner on base. Seen a little bit there of a difference. Those two have been down in the dirt.
And not as comfortable as where he should be there. This is why, pitching is an awful action that you just have to keep repeating until you're finding that sequence, and then you get this strength and the momentum behind you to generate the velocity.
And just as he has a learning process here as, the under 18s level, he's done some different things in terms of been on an Australian team that went to America, been on a few of the charter baseball teams, but, I think I heard you talk about it still. Even as you get into the single A's, it's you learn to locate your fastball. Double A's, you learn to locate your off-speed pitch. Triple A, you start to piece it all together. So it's still a learning process even for the next however many years, because pitchers ultimately kind of hit that prime, mid-20s, early 30s.
Yeah, look, it's a learning game. it's not expected that you learn when you're younger, but if you have the foundations there, and curveball up in the zone, but got Kai Cahill on his front foot, it's a learning process in that you try and teach these guys there's more to than just trying to strike every hitter out. There's more to doing that. Even though you've been doing this in club ball, you want to focus on the pure mechanics, trust the catcher behind you, trust the coaches that are trying to make you a better player.
Cahill rolled that one out to Kurosawa, flips over to, I think that's Isaac Meldrum over at first base now.
That 70 guys, Owen Pilcher, up to bat versus his teammate, Wanneroo teammates. Good.
Now you see a little bit more of that competitiveness. You're facing that teammate. You don't want.
Oh yeah, you don't want it. But this is the little bulldog that I've seen that Jay's shown before. I mean, he's the quietest kid on the planet. Again, that little body action. You've got to remember. I try and drill it into him. The arm, follow that arm path. Repeat, repeat.
Landy leading off from second. Jay peeking back. Fires to the plate, misses high. Wind has died down a little bit, still circling, coming in from that left center. We've seen a few balls driven out to that area of the ballpark this evening. Pilcher calls for time. Awaiting the 3-1 offering from Reynolds. Pilcher will draw the base on balls. That puts runners first and second. New catcher Josh Davies going to ask for time, go out and talk to him.
Hard to tell, you know, the catcher, what do you tell him? Just focus down. You want the catcher to play big behind that dish. You want him to make an adjustment to move the target on the inside. I'd be telling Jay as a coach, spot the target, locate where you need to throw it, and the catcher needs to sometimes make a physical adjustment behind there.
Of course, Josh Davies, one of the smaller guys at this under 18 level, certainly has that target down at the ground.
Yeah, and that's where you want to be. Good.
There's a good bender, middle out.
Okay, here's a simple thing. Don't be afraid to do it again.
Caleb Goodwin at the plate. Runners first and second. Bulls needing to claw 4 runs across to avoid the run rule.
Mercy rule, might as well say it. It's called a mercy rule for a reason.
Caleb not able to do it all in one swing right now, but needing to do his part here. 2-out hits win ball games, and we'll see if the Bulls can string together a few. 3-1 pitch. Reynolds will step off the back half or regather himself. 2 outs. 1 pitch can end it.
Runs advanced. The clunk you heard was the batteries missed, swung down off his face.
Manages to catch that one off the dirt. Not sure whether or not that one had been tipped or not.
No,
that not been. So
no, it didn't get tipped. It just bounced and hit him in the mask.
Goodwin chases the high heat, and that'll do it. Reynolds able to close it. That will be the ball game. The Biscuits win. Final score: Biscuits 15, Bulls 2. That is the final of the Bob Ossie Cup. Congratulations to the Biscuits. Flynn McGaughan pitched one heck of a game before turning it over to the bullpen. Final words, Simon.
Outstanding effort from Flynn tonight in particular. He just completely dominated this game with a pounding the strike zone. It was a really good game of baseball for 4 innings. And then sort of the cracks open. Look, it's a tiresome time for these kids. What you're not seeing, you know, you may be just looking at a game of baseball that's happened at the end of the day, but these guys have been training every day for the last 2 weeks. This is baseball. This is what's going to happen. They're going to need to learn to do this. They're going to take some great things away from this. Thanks to all the sponsors that have come on board to help this situation out. thanks to the umpires, Baseball WA. A pleasure to be involved, and maybe we don't want to see this in the future, but if it happens to be in the COVID, then happy to do this again.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being with us. Empire Ballpark for the Rays Showcase, the Bob Ossie Final. Biscuits winners 15-2. Hang around. We have the awards ceremony for both the Jason Hewitt Cup as well as the Bob Ossie Cup. Players of the tournaments, those kinds of things. That's it for me. My name is Guy Bellera, Simon Isons. On behalf of Paul Morgan, Diamond Fitness, we'll turn it over to Paul Morgan down on the field.
I started coaching at the Institute in 2006. Today I present internationally, work for commercial brands and run my own online training business. And in 2014 I was named Australian Personal Trainer of the Year. I have over 2 decades experience in the health and fitness industry, and I firmly believe that there is no better personal training or massage program than what is offered at the Institute. I started back there when I was relatively new in my career. The people were amazing, the coaches, the friends who come through the Institute are just amazing. And it's such an environment that sets everybody up for success and high motivation. So there's a lot of energy, and I just love it. The Institute was a pivotal moment in my career. It absolutely catapulted me in a completely different direction. And I wholeheartedly believe if I hadn't had the opportunity to work for the Institute, I would not be doing what I absolutely love and adore right now. What advice would I have for somebody wanting to start their fitness journey? You know what? Just start. It sounds super cliche, but it's the truth. No matter if you're feeling anxious or worried or concerned or you're a bit scared to make the leap, do yourself a favor and just leap. It all starts here.